This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
He likes to set on colored people. He likes to frame the colored people.
I don't give a shit anymore.
Officer Fuhrman, driving through Brentwood at night with a glove in his bag. His evidence bag waits at the Bronco, opens the window to leave a few drops on the floor. A smudge on the door, Officer Mark Fuhrman. Where did that blood come from? Officer Mark Fuhrman, he dropped the bloody glove. Simpson and Cato, back from a burger and fries at a restaurant near. A noise in the rear, OJ is napping, dropping his socks near the bed, but there's somebody there, planting some hair. Officer Mark Fuhrman, where did the blood come from?
Unbelievable.
Officer Mark Fuhrman,
Increíble.
drop the bloody glove.
10:08 at WIOD, another sad day in America, and it's Yom Kippur, which I think is very appropriate. I wonder what Louis Farrakhan thinks about that. Last 24 hours, you know, there are some people out there, I guess they're getting their eyes open now. I don't know what kind of a cocoon they've been living in for the last many, many years, but this is nothing new. This has been going on, the kind of division and hate and separate but equal kind of mentality that goes on in this country, and it's really pathetic. And the fact that here we got a guy that killed two people, young people in the prime of their lives. And, you know, she may not have been the greatest. You know, she slept around, big dealer in Hollywood. She slept around. That's typical, and drugs and all that business. But generally speaking, by Hollywood standards, they were fairly decent young people in the prime of their lives, and they're dead. And nobody, except the families and a handful of people, nobody cares about that. And I've been telling you that for years now. Nobody cares about human life in America anymore. All they care about is another excuse to become emotional, psychotic, hysterical, whether it's about Fidel, whether it's about OJ, no matter what it is, just give me my little ethnic thing to play with this week, and I'll go nuts. I'll go apeshot. I thought Phil was exaggerating yesterday when he was talking about the scene in this building, because I'm here cloistered in this room, and I can't see what's going on out in the hallway. But as we were doing our countdown and approaching the 1 o'clock, and finally at about 1:05 or 1:10 got the verdict read, obviously, everybody's out in the hallway. They're watching the TVs. They're listening to the monitors, and they're, waiting to hear the verdict read. And Phil comes on and describes it. I mean, he's out there with them. And at the time the not guilty was read, I don't know all, but according to him, all of the black employees here at WIOD and Hot 105 and the Coast in this building, all three stations are in this building, were screaming and shouting and cheering like they had just won a goddamn Super Bowl. And the white people were walking around with their heads down, damn it, and crap, etc. And I thought maybe Phil was exaggerating a wee bit. Then I went home, like most of you, and I watched all of these news reports. I saw the students at Howard University. I saw scene after scene after scene. I saw groups of black people celebrating like their team had just won the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the goddamn Stanley Cup they don't have a Stanley Cup on the same day. The only black woman that I saw who was not happy with the verdict was the woman up there at the shelter for the abused, battered women in Fort Lauderdale. Did you see those women? Those women were in tears. And all this crap, Geraldo, I give Geraldo credit for at least having the balls to tell it like it is. And he was on there for 4 hours on CNBC last night exploiting, as he has been for months now. The only problem is Geraldo's got no credibility because he's close friends with the Brown family. And wouldn't you know, on the night that the verdict is read, the Brown family just coincidentally go to this clandestine location where they have a satellite uplink and they make an exclusive appearance on a goddamn Geraldo show. So even though I agree with most of what Geraldo was saying and did say last night that OJ got away with murder, the fact is he's got no credibility. And the idea that because Denise Brown, who ain't much to talk about in the first place, that she's running around the country now at this late date after her sister is dead, championing the cause of battered and abused women, it don't hold much water with me. And I don't believe it. I don't believe that anybody's consciousness has been raised or that any of these cliches mean a goddamn thing. Because the fact is, Bobby Cox beat up his wife, Warren Moon beat up his wife, Irving Spikes beat up his wife, those two jocks at the University of Nebraska beat up their girlfriends. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. Any more than in America, where life of humans is as cheap as life of cockroaches, too many people care about the fact that these two young people were butchered, slaughtered. And F. Lee Bailey, and I can understand why Shapiro don't ever want to speak to him again. He's the lowest of them all. F. Lee Bailey is the lowest of them all. On the one hand, he comes on yesterday and says, oh, we weren't here to seek justice. We were here to get an acquittal for our client, which is true. But to say that right on the heels of getting the verdict read is like rubbing the noses of the victims' families, rubbing their nose in it. And then coming on this morning on Court TV, I guess it was taped yesterday, coming on and saying, cooking up this crazy story, and I do mean crazy, insane story, about how it was a drug retaliation and Faye Resnick wasn't paying the drug dealers, and they were there to, it was a hit, a professional hit, and Faye Resnick was the intended victim. And I know that if I wanted to kill Faye Resnick, I'd go to Nicole Simpson Brown's condo and just kill any woman that happened to walk outside. That's how professional hitmen operate. Plus, they leave gloves behind. See, lawyers, man, I'm telling you, that's what we ought to be talking about is lawyers and this whole masquerade and charade. But what we're talking about is racism, because that's all anybody cares about in this country. Give me an excuse to hate somebody else. That's what we do best in America. Give me an excuse to hate somebody else, and I'll hate him with all my goddamn might. I'm surprised, by the way, they put goddamn on Channel 4 last night. Did you see that clip on the 6 o'clock news? When I'm saying it's goddamn verdict time, baby, it's 1 o'clock, and they put that on Channel 4. All right. So I guess that wasn't family sensitive.
610 WIOD, Radio Free South Florida.
Hello, I am a black female American, and I'm calling due to the fact that I am listening to 610 AM currently, and I do not appreciate the comments that are being made referring to black Americans. It is ridiculous that the way they are talking about people on welfare, because there are more white people on welfare in America than blacks. There's more white trash out there. They're not trying to get jobs. They just want to lay around and have babies from black people. And I would appreciate it if you would stop making those horrendous comments, because I am sick and tired of it, and I will call my lawyers.
All right. You do that, honey. How's Johnny doing? Well, Johnny's got nothing to do right now anyway. Maybe Johnny can do it for you. So anyway, now Shapiro says he will never speak to F. Lee Bailey again and will never try a case with Johnny Cochran again, because they not only played the race card, but they dealt from the bottom of the deck. And yet he still managed somehow to show up at OJ's and sip all the champagne and party like an animal there last night, as he's been doing all along. And I'm sure he won't say, hey, forget about the bill, because my conscience, will not be clear if I take a dime in this case. Forget about the bill. Right, right. Yeah, we saw yesterday what it's all about, baby. You know, when I was working, this is 30 years ago. Albion, Michigan. And I broadcast high school basketball games. We had a guy, the owner of the station, in fact, who fancied himself a sportscaster, which he wasn't. He was kind of a bozo anyway. But anyway, he broadcast the Albion games, and I broadcast the little town next to Albion was Marshall, Michigan. I broadcast that high school's games. And one night, Albion and Marshall are playing each other at Albion High. Well, Marshall was like white bread. There was all like white people in Marshall. But Albion was a town that was like, maybe 70% white and 30% black. And you go in, and we're sitting up there in the broadcast booth, and I'm looking across at the bleachers on the other side of the gym, because there were only bleachers on one side. It was kind of a small gymnasium. And it was as if, and there's no segregation, okay? This is 1966. And certainly no segregation in Michigan at that point, at least not imposed. And I look across at the kids sitting on the other side, and it was like somebody had drawn a line down the middle in the bleachers. All the black kids, all of them, every one of them who were there at the game, were sitting on one side together, and on the other side, all the kids were white. I mean, there was no barrier there. The bleachers, just like at any gym, just go straight across. But it was this, if somebody would have put a sign up there saying, black section, white section, like the old segregated days, black drinking fountain, white man's restroom, whatever the hell it was. You know that old expression, birds of a feather stick together? And it's very, very sad, because if you think that the acquittal in the OJ Simpson trial is going to change anything, if you think that sacrificing the lives of two white people to get even with Rodney King, who last time I checked is still alive, and a slime ball at that, by the way. See, I wouldn't want Rodney King to be I wouldn't want him to be my champion as far as justice is concerned. Maybe those civil rights workers in Mississippi. By the way, weren't a couple of them Jewish? Somebody ought to remind Louis Farrakhan about that, too. About the civil rights workers that got butchered by the rednecks in Mississippi. See, I hate to break the news to the black people in America, or at least in this listening audience. Blacks aren't the only ones who get discriminated against, okay? That may come as a shock to you. You know that gutter religion, the Jews? Today is Yom Kippur, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that.
Boy!
Yeah, well, we Jews have a long history, much longer than blacks in America, because blacks have only been here since they were brought in crates as slaves 300 years ago, 400 years ago. But Jews have been put upon by the Arabs and all the other people who decided to hate them for one reason or another for thousands of years. And yet, somehow, some way, they managed to survive. They managed to get an education. They managed, and again, I'm generalizing, of course. There are some dumb Jews, there are bad Jews, there are old, obnoxious Jews here in South Florida. But generally speaking, the Jewish people, as a whole, have managed to survive very well, thank you. In this Neanderthal country, then, of course, we got the fags. So you see, I got 2 strikes against me already. I'm a Jew fag, so I got big problems. And at this point, we still go on with all these right-wing, with these good Christians telling us how we're sinners and how we're evil and using us as political battering rams, because you've always got to have a scapegoat. That's what Hitler found out. The more scapegoats you got, the better the people like it. You got to blame somebody. So let's blame the faggots for the moral decay in America, right? That's what the problem is. Even though they're all over the rest of the goddamn world and nobody seems to be having too much of a problem about it or paying any attention to it, but in America, it's the goddamn faggots. Just ask Pat Buchanan or Bob Dornan or any of the other goddamn, or, these good Christians. Just ask Pat Robertson what the problem with America is today. It's the faggots. And yet, you know something? We managed to be everywhere. In sports, in the arts, in entertainment, in show business, doctors, lawyers, they're fags everywhere. A lot of them making a lot of money. And as a person who's, like I said, if I were just your, average white bread guy who's like your Christian, white Anglo-Saxon, nondescript, maybe I wouldn't have anything to say. I know all about prejudice. I know all about discrimination. And what I'm tired of hearing is crying. I'm tired of stupidity. I'm tired of people operating their entire lives based on emotion instead of reason and sense. And that display that we saw yesterday, this cheering, it was just like the stuff that was going on back a year and a half ago, on the day that OJ decided to flee. Here's the Bronco going up and down the freeway. And wasn't it really convenient, talk about completing the circus for the media, that they go up the freeway nice and slow in the white van? I'm surprised they didn't have the Bronco. It just wasn't big enough for all the people in it for the celebration party. But all those people running out in the freeway last year, go OJ, go OJ. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? He couldn't have killed anybody. I mean, so we beat her up a few times. I mean, all jocks beat up their wives and their women, right? Sure. That's okay. Never stole a freight train. We don't know what those stumps were on the wall out there. We don't have any idea who was running across the goddamn lawn. We can't even imagine that if he had a goddamn eyedropper on him at all times, that Mark Fuhrman could have picked up Ron Goldman's blood, put it in the Bronco. I mean, there were people just running around placing blood and smearing blood all over the goddamn place, if you believe Johnny Cochran. No way. But like I told you in the beginning, and I told you again yesterday before the verdict came down, there was never any chance, there was no possibility that this jury would come in with a conviction. And Johnny Cochran told his friends way back in the beginning during jury selection, if I can get one black on that jury, we'll have a hung trial and they'll never get a conviction. He got a bonus. He got 9. But, it's not a racial thing. Just look at all your news yesterday. It's not a racial thing. Just look at the scene we had in this building yesterday. So the fact that it's impossible to believe that this man didn't murder these 2 people, it's virtually impossible to believe that. Forget about that. Because now chalk up one for us. 1026 at WIOD. They were interviewing some of the Dolphin players yesterday on one of the channels on the sportscast. They interviewed 2 or 3 of the black players, and they said, this is great, this is justice, there was a lot of doubt, yada, yada, yada. And all of the white players refused to be interviewed. And a sportscaster, I forget who it was, it might have been Steve Shapiro, said the white players thought that the verdict was incorrect, were unhappy with the verdict. Now, let me say this to you, okay? White people were unhappy with the verdict in the Rodney King case because we had the videotapes there and saw them 8 million times and knew that justice was not done. White people were disgusted and nauseated here in Miami with the verdict in Tampa when they moved the trial over there when Arthur McDuffie was butchered and murdered by the cops. And the thanks that we got is the white people who happened to be driving in the wrong place at the wrong time during the riots that ensued after the verdict was announced got dragged out of their cars and had their brains gouged out with bottles. A whole bunch of them. So you see, it doesn't really make any difference. And let me say it again. When all of these different people, all the notorious people I've been mentioning for weeks now, John Wayne Gacy and David Berkowitz and Ted Bundy and Richard Speck and Charles Manson, nobody got up and said, oh, they're being discriminated against because they're white or because they're Jewish or because they're gay or because they're whatever. Now, we'll say this. When Alvarez was on trial, then, of course, that's another thing. Because in this town, Hispanics are just as guilty as anybody else. They're already always screaming a song and a dance. We're being discriminated against because we're Hispanic. Right. You see, if you're going to do the crime, you ought to do the time. There's one, Johnny. It's called taking responsibility for your own actions, which that doesn't happen in America anymore. Nobody's responsible for their own actions. And so it's a game. And when they say that lawyers have destroyed America, that everybody's suing everybody else, man, that's the goddamn truth. That's the truth. But that's only a symptom of the illness. And if you think that by coming on some stupid radio talk show that I'm going to, or Joe Rose or anybody else is going to come on here, we're going to change any of this, you're living in la-la land, baby. It's just like the Arabs and the Jews. They can sign all the goddamn peace treaties they want from now until Golda Meir makes a comeback with David Ben-Gurion on her shoulder. Until that happens, it's still not going to make any difference. Because there are elements there that are so filled with hatred. I mean, if it's lasted 5,000 years, there's nothing to make me assume it's going to go away tomorrow. We got this gigantic chip problem in America. It's a big chip on collective shoulders. And there's a frightening percentage of black Americans out there, and I'm sick and tired of this African American and all these different... You can keep calling yourselves anything you want. You can let the media keep changing the labels on you, but I'm going to tell you something, baby. That doesn't set you free. That doesn't give you a goddamn thing. And you can read all about Alex Haley. See, my ancestors, they came from Poland and they came from Russia, and I couldn't give a crap about any of that. I don't care about Polish history. I don't care about Russian history. I don't care about Jewish history. I don't care about any of it. All I know is I'm here now, I got a brain, and I'm going to do the best I can. And I don't need to know any goddamn thing about my ancestors to have self-respect or desire to live like a human being. I don't need any of that crap. And I don't have to name myself Yitzhak or Bruce in order to feel that I'm making some kind of a goddamn statement so I can separate myself from everybody else and drive that wedge even deeper. And that's what happened in America yesterday. Even Ronald Reagan and George Bush couldn't set race relations back any further and any deeper or any worse than happened yesterday. So all you people who rejoiced and were cheering and carrying on like your team had just won the Super Bowl, what in God's name are you thinking about? What did you accomplish? OJ Simpson got off. Is he going to come to your house and hand you a check for $1 million? Is he going to improve your life? And this guy that called Rick before that can't understand when we're saying that OJ Simpson isn't your typical black man in America. Is that difficult to understand? He's not your typical human being in America because he's a multimillionaire. He's a famous goddamn celebrity, admired and loved by all. But he's been turned into a symbol. See, if you want to respect somebody, respect Julian Bond or Barbara Jordan or somebody who's got a brain. Somebody who's really accomplished something in their lives besides being a goddamn jock, besides carrying a stupid goddamn football. Somebody who's a credit to the goddamn society, somebody who doesn't beat up their wives. That's who you ought to respect. Don't respect Louis Farrakhan, who's a goddamn demagogue, who's no different from Adolf Hitler, who's, if given the opportunity, if he were in power, he'd be doing the same goddamn thing. The ovens would be burning right now, and I'd be in one of them, and so would a lot of you. A Nazi of the worst kind. And that's the man you respect? That's the man who's invited to speak on college campuses in America? Louis Farrakhan? He's Hitler with a slightly darker complexion and no mustache. I realize it's not easy to find people you can admire or leaders. Sure, and I said this yesterday. Who the hell can white people admire? What kind of leaders have we got? Bob Packwood? Bubba? Ross Perot with the big ears? Who the hell have we got? But just because you're desperate and downtrodden and struggling like crazy to make a go of life, don't start looking for the demagogues, because that's what they did in Nazi Germany. So when Johnny Cochran opens up a big mouth about the Nazis and yada, 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 yeah, okay. So Mark Fuhrman is a symptom of the illness of hate that we got in this country, okay? And we got a lot of them like that. A lot of cops just like him. And worse. That's nothing new. Jury nullification. Never heard that expression before in my life. I'm 52 years old. I never, ever heard that expression in my life. And that's exactly what they did. And that's why Bob Shapiro got up and walked out before the end of one of Johnny Cochran's closing arguments that one day. Because it nauseated him. Even as much of a grave robber as he is, because let's face it, he's taking the money all the way to the bank. Like he said yesterday, he wasn't just playing the race card. He was dealing from the bottom of the deck. He's saying, you got a statement to make here. I wish we had that segment of his closing argument to play again when he went through that Sermon on the Mount. In other words, what he's saying is, forget about what you just saw here the last 8 months. Forget about the evidence. Forget about the goddamn blood evidence. Forget about the fact this man lied through his teeth, has got no alibi. Forget about the Bronco chase, which I know you all heard about. Here's a brother. We've been oppressed, and here's a goddamn brother. Even though he's turned his back on most of you folks, even though he was married to a white woman and then decided to murder her, and even though he has this taste for white chicks, blondes, we'll use him as a symbol. And here's your chance to say the justice system sucks. We've been getting the short end of the stick for too goddamn long. Now we're going to strike back. Now we're even. We exchanged 2 white lives for this superhero. And they said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And so we had jury nullification. Which means what they did was waste everybody's time. $10 million of the taxpayer money in California, by the way. $10 million. People are starving in the goddamn streets of America. And right there, $10 million, they might as well have flushed it down the toilet for all the good it did. Oh, it entertained a lot of people. Gave a lot of you people with no lives a hell of a lot of entertainment. Gave you an excuse to get out of the sack in the morning so you could turn on a TV. And ultimately, it drove a wedge right down through the heart of this goddamn country. It'll be another 50 to 100 years before we even start taking 1 or 2 steps back. I'm nauseated. I'm revolted. I'm disgusted. Sitting there and watching that crap on TV and watching people jumping up and down and cheering for a goddamn murderer. What the hell is that all about? How many white people were jumping up and down and cheering when the goddamn cops got exonerated in the Rodney King case? How many white people were jumping and cheering, jumping up and down when the goddamn cops got exonerated in the killing of Arthur McDuffie? But we're bad guys, see? We're all racists. We're all evil. We're all honkies. Don't ever forget that. So separate but equal, okay? Is that what it is? Is that the name of the game? Separate but equal. We'll take west of the Mississippi. You can have east of the Mississippi. How's that? And we'll divvy up all the money.
The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers on WIOD are not necessarily those of the station or its sponsors. All WIOD programs are copyright 1995 by WIOD Incorporated. No tape recordings or transcripts may be created or distributed without prior written consent of WIOD Incorporated. I killed Nicole.
20 till 11 at WIOD. I could go on for the whole 4 hour. I could go on for 100 hours now. I could just sit here, but I'm not going to do it. I just want to say one more thing, and I've always told you this, and this is the way I live my life. I deal with people as individuals. I don't care if they're white, if they're black, if they're straight, if they're gay, if they're Chinese, if they're Japanese. I don't give a... if they're Jewish, if they're Christian, if they're atheists. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. People are people. That's about the only thing my mother ever told me in my life that made any sense at all, and that's over a long period of time. You know, sooner or later you come up with something that makes sense. People are people. There's good white people, there's trash white people. There's good black people, there's garbage black people. There's good gay people, there's garbage... Whatever group you want, man, you'll find good and bad, you'll find the stereotypes, you'll find anything you want, anything you're looking for. So don't give me this crap about being a racist, but I am going to say this, you know, after what I saw yesterday, including the display in this building, today I'm not feeling real good about black people. And I know I shouldn't feel that way because... there, even in the polls, consistently have been about a quarter of the blacks that have been polled who said, hey, he's guilty as hell, man, fry his ass. course, there's also been a segment of those people who've never liked OJ in the first place because he married a white chick. See, so as you keep examining this and look under the surface, we got some problems there. But today I'm real unhappy, and tomorrow I'll probably feel a little bit less psychotic about it and start looking more rationally at the whole thing. But after watching the display that I saw yesterday and the cheering and the carrying on, for what? For a guy, if nothing else, who was a wife beater. Both wives, by the way. The first one decided she had a change of heart, just like Bobby Cox's wife, because it's not good for business. Chris Darden said it best when he, went through that thing in the closing arguments about, you see the public face we put on here in court every day. You don't know us. You don't know what we're like in our homes. You don't know what we're like in private. You don't know if we're beating our kids or our wives or our dog or anything else. You have no idea. You think you know. You don't know crap. That's what he said, and he's exactly right. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got 3 things to say. All right, first, I have to thank you. I have done the Dr. Atkins for 4 weeks now.
Yep.
Down 23 pounds.
Great.
And also, you know how your company, or whatever you want to call them, WIOD, doesn't promote you?
Yeah.
They're getting a free advertisement for free. Because on 72nd Avenue and 36th Street, they started stripping down an old billboard, and guess what ad is like under 3 layers?
All right.
And it says 610 new. It doesn't say the S, it says new.
That's only 7 years old.
Yeah, probably.
We don't want to overdo it.
Also, all these black people, okay, whatever they want to say the case is true, but aren't all women sisters? How come the black women aren't saying a sister died and a sister was beaten? They never looked at that. But no, OJ is free, OJ's a brother. But what happened to a white lady who was actually a sister? They don't say anything. That's the thing that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it just gets so, if you
don't
start
start complicating this by bringing the victims in. See, nobody cares about victims.
Yeah,
Not just in this crime, in any crime.
Okay, he didn't kill him. Who killed him? OJ Simpson's not going to hire a detective now to go find out.
Oh, yeah, he's going to spend the big bucks now. That's what he said. That's the good PR thing that his son read there yesterday. The tears were just rolling down my cheeks.
He's not going to do shot, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is forget it.
It's kind of a waste of money because all he's got to do is look in the mirror and he'll see the killer.
Yeah, and OJ's a coward. I bet you when he's on his deathbed and he calls in a priest, then he's going to admit that he killed her and that he beat her worse than what they knew.
Well, Rosie Greer knows the answer right now. I'll guarantee you that, pal.
Exactly.
Have a great day. Keep up the good work.
All right, take it easy, Neil.
Open line in Dade, 751. We got one on the green line out there. That's pretty amazing. 1-800-944-9463. Here's Miami. Hello.
Incredible, Neil. That's all I can say. I'm here. Had a big agenda to give to you, and you wiped it all out. I'm perplexed. All the stuff you said so true, and I'm overwhelmed.
If you want to keep yourself locked in some kind of a racial or ethnic closet, if you want to categorize yourself all your life, if that's all you want to be is a professional ethnic, then that's all you're ever going to be. Yeah. You have to, sooner or later, your mind has to transcend that. You have to go beyond that.
I mean, you're right.
And just being angry all of your life isn't going to change anything.
Yeah, you were on a roll, but you could have definitely done your 4 hours.
Oh, listen, I could go on for the rest of the day because I know what I'm saying makes sense. I've been around a long time, man, and I'm sick and tired of people whining and crying on my goddamn shoulder. At the same time, some of their own people are destroying the neighborhoods that I live in and destroying the neighborhood that they have to live in. A lot of these people can't even walk outside at night for crying out loud. Yeah. They live in areas in this city right here. Forget about Los Angeles. They live in parts of this city right here. They can't walk the streets because of the drug peddling and the crap and the criminals and the thugs that are taking over their goddamn communities, and they're sitting there talking about OJ Simpson as if that's going to change their lives.
You know what?
When are these people going to wake up and sniff the goddamn flowers? They ought to be sitting down there. They ought to be running down and marching on City Hall right now saying, you better get your cops in here and give us some goddamn protection and get these goons off the streets and make it safe to live. Who the hell would want to live like that?
The other countries are they're looking at us and just
They think we're crazier than hell, man. I tell you that from personal experience. They think we're crazier than hell. And they may want to wear the jeans and all the other designer clothing and listen to the music, but that's as much of America as they want. Yeah. Maybe a little taste of McDonald's, and that's it.
Man, this is totally screwed up. And last time I heard this, the name of the country, I think a new name should be apropos, the divided states of America, because there is nothing united in this place.
Okay, pal.
Take it easy.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Yep. Like I said, sit there 30 years ago and look across at those bleachers, all the black kids on one side, all the white kids on the other side. Nobody ever told them to do that. There was no sign. There was no... this was in the mid-'60s.
Same when I went to high school.
Albion, Michigan. They divided by themselves willingly and freely, and evidently were having a good time. But if somebody would have stood there and said, hey, all you black kids, you got to sit over here on this side, as if it would have made a difference. So like I said, don't put the blacks on the back of the bus, because that's wrong, obviously, and I agree with that. That's wrong. Don't put anybody on the back of the bus unless they're last in line. But put black people on one side of the bus, and all the white people will sit on the other side. Is everybody going to be happy then? Is that what we want, our vision of America? And they talk about, I have to laugh, this thing about Miami being a world-class city. There are no world-class cities in America. There are no world-class cities here. There's no such thing. Even when I go up to Toronto, which, quite frankly, how far is Toronto from Buffalo? 150 miles, 100 miles? It's like going to Europe. And there are blacks, and there's Orientals, and there's all different kinds of people, and there's lots of gay people up there, and there's lots of every kind of person you can imagine. And they're walking around in the streets, and nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a flying crap. And they're supposed to be real uptight, eh? But not in America, man. Everybody's busy judging everybody else. Everybody's got a goddamn attitude. They got a chip on their shoulder. Everybody's whining and crying. They're being oppressed. They're being put upon. But human life, man, forget about that, because that's not worth anything here. It's worth something in most of the civilized places in the world, but not in the goddamn USA. That's what people ought to be talking about, not whether it was they played their goddamn race card, not whether black people think they won a Super Bowl yesterday, not whether now we're even for Rodney King and Arthur McDuffie or whatever the hell we're pissed off about. We ought to be talking about the value of human life. And stop this goddamn charade we're putting on like a goddamn justice system. There's no justice. There's just a bunch of greedy bastard lawyers and assholes like F. Lee Bailey, who's nothing but a goddamn egotistical, pompous fat ass. That's all he is. We didn't come here for justice. We came here to get an acquittal for our client. Nice job, guys. Congratulations. Yes?
Lance Ito made a very bad decision way back in the beginning during jury selection, which I think doomed this case. Aside from the Gil Garcetti's decision to go downtown, because he felt there was better security than out in Brentwood, Ito let the lawyers interview the jurors one-on-one. And by doing that, Cochran made sure that the jurors are predisposed to his rhetoric.
You bet.
And, and maybe he put them in a slumber, the whole 15 months and woke them up during his closing argument.
Yep.
I mean, that's what seems to happen. The first
jury
vote,
nullification. You ever hear that term
before? I've heard of it recently, but I'd never heard of it before this trial. The first vote was 10-2. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No.
When they took the first straw vote, I'd be really interested to speak to see with those two jurors what made them change their mind towards the end there and make it a 12-0 vote. The one saving grace that we have, there is. And it's not much, but, there is a civil suit pending, from the Goldman family.
Goldman family, yeah.
And in the criminal case, they had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
In the civil suit, you only have to prove a preponderance
of evidence, right.
Right. So I think, if he takes the stand, he cannot take the Fifth Amendment, and he must...
Right, he has to testify, right,
he has
in a
to
civil
testify.
suit. Right.
Shapiro last night, they discussed the salaries, that these guys got during for the trial, and Shapiro was the first one hired by OJ, and his agreement was $100,000 a month for whatever it was, 16 months, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
Shapiro hired Cochran. His salary is only $500,000 for this trial. F. Lee Bailey, and I have a very interesting story about F. Lee Bailey. In fact, a woman that you and I both know. He is a closet racist. I mean, he hasn't come out and said it, but give him a few drinks under his belt, and his true feelings really come out. F. Lee Bailey only got paid expenses for this trial. And,
I know that.
Yeah, and Barry Scheck, I think, got $50,000. I think was the his salary for and he seemed to have done the most work. So it was just a travesty yesterday, and everyone's depressed, but life's got to go on, and there's nothing much we can do at this point.
Yeah. Well, Shapiro is very indignant today, but I guess the $1.6 million will make up for a lot of it.
Now, tell you said he was at that party. Did he leave before sundown last night? That's
good question.
Yeah.
I think he was eating trafe, too, there. Okay,
All right.
Rich.
Catch you later.
See you Friday.
Yep.
Fat Rich, Mr. Pompano Park there with what time is his show starting?
From the time they found the bodies to the words OJ's been dying to hear, the best radio news team in South Florida brought you the trial of the century.
Do the jury in the above entitled action find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder?
The best news, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Oh, you seem Little Richard. Oh, I'm sorry. 1055 at WIOD.
Well, he's self-hating anyway.
He's what?
Self-hating.
Oh, yeah.
It was rock and roll and drugs that led him to it.
Oh, so anyway, I have some really interesting couple of faxes here, which I wouldn't even waste your time with. One saying that I'm really clueless, and it's obvious it was a drug hit and police, this and that and yada yada. Right. So let me ask you again. Who was it that was running into the house? Who turned on the lights? Was he sleeping? Was he playing golf ball? Was he chipping golf balls? Was he chipping Ron Goldman's balls? What was he doing during that period of time? And what were those stumps on the wall? These are very simple questions. I realize they don't have to prove his innocence, but it's something that, you know, if a guy, if you don't have an alibi, you're going to lie. You know what I'm saying? Here's another rhyme. Here's another cliche. If you do acquit, you're full of... So here's Hollywood. Hello?
Couple of questions.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be apoplectic when you see this juror have her news conference trying to explain why they did what they did.
Oh, no, I'm not going to be apoplectic. You want to know why? Because I know that they're going to lie through their teeth anyway.
And
I mean, there's not one of those people who's going to come on here and say, well, yeah, we made up our minds ahead of time, or Johnny told us to play the race card, so we decided that's a good idea. Let's. Well, they're not going to. They're going to tell you whatever they figure is, palatable for public consumption and will help them sell a book.
Yeah, because they're saying there's holes in the prosecution. How can you argue with hard DNA evidence? I don't care if it rains on it or anything
That's right.
else.
You can't. You can't make a false positive. Period. And especially all of the false positives. And how did Ron Goldman's blood get in the Bronco? I mean, it's like the Keystone Cops. You can just see all these people running around with little eyedroppers, and of course, very carefully marked. Oh, here's OJ's blood that we got out of that vial. Here's Ron Goldman's blood that we picked up at the crime scene. Where they got all these little eyedroppers in these little bottles, dropping blood and smearing it all over the place. It's comical.
Where were they going to get OJ's blood from?
Oh, they took OJ. When he came back from Chicago, they took his blood. You've been following it real close, pal. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. Let's do Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I had to call, of course. Couple things that I wanted to make my little statement here. When I first heard of this thing, the whole thing,
yeah,
I thought there's no way he would have killed his wife. And then as the fact, I mean, you don't want it to happen. And as the facts come out and you learn the facts, you have to take them for what they're worth. And something Cochran said yesterday, and one of the things I don't think anybody's brought up, is that he said that sometimes in a case like this, you have to look past the facts. And I was appalled with that.
Yeah.
Sitting there and spewing.
Well, that was his message to the jury.
In a news conference, though, he said we have to look past the facts.
Yeah.
Why? What's the sense of a law?
Because that's what he was getting paid big bucks for, was to get his man off.
It's
a game.
It's so frustrating. You saw him. I was insulted when I listened to him give his closing arguments, that if someone was standing in front of me and talking like that to me, I would be totally disgraced at hearing it. He was talking down to the...
He is a disgrace.
Yeah, pretty much. He was talking down to the people, and it just, you could tell the mentality of the jury.
In addition to which, keep one thing in mind. Johnny Cochran beat his ex-wife, okay?
Yeah.
Johnny Cochran's got real problems of his own.
You could tell the
mentality. So what credibility has he got?
Yeah, you could tell the mentality of the jury by the way he was addressing them. And I mean, I had when people had asked me all along, do you think he's guilty? Well, yeah, he's guilty, but do you think he'll get off? I said yes, but I was hoping that somehow there would be justice. And there
was never a chance of a conviction with this jury. There was never an iota of a chance, ever, no matter what the testimony was.
Yeah, and it's a sad state of the country saying that.
I mean, here's that whole time frame. You can't account for 1 minute of where he was. They bring in the goddamn Alan Parks testimony again, the limo driver. See, if I heard that testimony again, I'd say, hey, this is open and shut. I mean, the Bronco wasn't there. This man's got no alibi. He's lied about it. And, he had all the opportunity. He had the motive. We got the blood. We got enough evidence to put this man away for 10 lifetimes. But in the meantime, instead of coming to that conclusion, instead of asking the question that should have been asked, they're just listening to all this emotional religious rhetoric.
It's just
God and Moses and Jesus and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., you name it, man, he had him in there.
When they brought that out when they I mean, that's what everybody anticipated, was that's why they were doing it, because it just isolates. And a question for you: have you ever been in a fist fight?
Have I ever what?
Been in a fist fight?
No.
Or seen a fist fight?
Yeah.
How long do they last?
A couple of minutes.
Maybe. I mean, a good one is a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But a good hockey fight. I mean, you see two guys wail each other for 5 minutes.
Maybe a minute.
Yeah. So now you figure one guy who's who's much, much bigger than Goldman was, and he's got a knife.
Yeah.
It's going to take 15 minutes. Last thing, or two more things. Prejudice. The people who are prejudiced, shame on them. They're missing out on meeting half the people in the world that they're prejudiced against. That's just, you're not an asshole until you prove you're an asshole, and I don't care what color you are.
Okay.
You bleed red blood. And then maybe a jury of Simpson's peers. How about like Bobby Cox, Mark Fitzpatrick, Andre
Irving
Rison.
Spikes and Warren Moon. Okay, we'll work that up for next trial.
News to keep you informed. Talk to make you laugh your ass off.
Brian Blade.
610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Does the juice get loose, or does he meet Bruce, his new roommate for life, who's hung like a moose?
Well, I'm the type of senator who likes to fool around where pretty girls are. Well, you know I chase them down. I goose them and I pinch them, cause to me it's just a game. I grab them and I poke them, and they're giving me a name. They call me the fondler, yeah, the fondler. I feel around, an assistant on my left, my secretary on my right.
Oh my God.
There's a cute little page that I'll be driving home tonight. And when she asked me the secret of my success, I rip open her shirt and try to do her on my desk, cause I'm the fondler, yeah, the fondler. I go up around.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm known all over town. I got a wife, but I don't care. And I track 'em like a hound. Just give me 2 sips of wine and I'm in your underwear. Well, I'm the type of senator who likes to write it down. Got a secret hiding place where my diary won't be found. And when I get the urge, and if I find a willing girl, I'll hop right into the sack, I will, and give that girl a twirl, cause I'm the fondler, yeah, the fondler. I grope around, yeah.
Hey, cut that out.
Ow.
Stop it. Get your hands off me.
Ow.
What a pervert.
Cause I'm the fondler, yeah, the fondler. I grope around.
He was set up, man. 11:07 at WID. We know Republicans aren't horny. There's no way Bob Packwood could have done all that. We have an open line in Broward if you hop on it real fast. We're just sitting here and getting all your input, listening to all your BS. 524-9463, 524-WIOD. And that F. Lee Bailey, man, he's a real good one to talk. How do you like that? He's one of the best lawyers that money can buy. Some crap like that, right? Yeah, he's a good actor, man. I'll tell you one thing. Give him 20 years. Here's Miami on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I knew this country was divided somewhat with race, but I had no idea until after that verdict yesterday.
Yesterday was a refresher course for all of America.
I had no idea how bad it was. I thought maybe since some of those people they were interviewing were people off the streets and stuff like that, but when I saw like University of Miami law students and stuff like that acting the way they were, I said, these people, these are young people that somewhat have some kind of brain on their shoulders doing what they're doing, and they're acting like that. Can you imagine being a defendant or somewhat in the future with somebody like that representing you?
No, I can't.
That's
absolutely not. That's why the jury system's got to go. It has to go.
That's unbelievable. And just on a lighter note, I would take all the money you have and bet on me to beat the experts in this week's Sun Sentinel football pool. Just bet it all.
I hear nothing, I see nothing, I know nothing.
Okay, you might have to do it from Boise, pal. Hang on.
Hold on, hey.
Hang on, yeah.
They have all of last week's games
there
in the paper today.
Okay.
So.
Even I can handle that. Hang on. Put that guy, register him for that tragic trip and get that over with, okay? Okay, it's 11:09 at WIOD. Let's go to, where are we going? To Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, did you hear what OJ did? He released his first single as soon as they announced him not guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes like this. It goes, "It was a crime of passion. She took me by the heart when she took me by the hand. Crime of passion. First I killed a woman, then I killed the other man." Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, that was a good start. I thought we had like 3.5 minutes there. Keep working on it, pal, and the song, too. Here's Yeehaw Junction. Hello.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, my God.
Wait a second.
Open line of Dade, 751, yes.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Boy, I'll tell you, I live up in Belglade.
Yeah.
In Yeehaw Junction right now.
Yeah.
I got up yesterday morning thinking, I felt pretty good about it because I thought...
Pretty good about what?
Oh, I just had a feeling that the jurors were going to do the right thing. And I don't know. It's like everything that's happened in the last 24 hours has been like flip-flop because I feel like the race relations have gone backwards 20 years.
Yeah, at least.
And they should have gone forward 20 years if those people had done the right thing.
Well, what do you mean by that? They should have gone forward. I don't see where race relations should have been involved in this trial. This wasn't a trial about race relations in America or about justice based on race. It was a trial based on how much money have you got and what kind of a defense can you afford to buy, whether you're black, white, or purple, or Chinese. That's what it was all about. It had nothing to do with race.
Well, that's true, but
supposedly.
I was hoping that those people that were on the jury...
So yesterday we found out that the reason that even before all the stuff about the Fuhrman tapes, why these polls pretty consistently since way back early in the year have been divided along racial lines. About 3/4 of the whites thought he did it, and about 3/4 of the blacks said he did not do it, and it's been that way very consistently, very little change all the way through, regardless of the evidence.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, I just couldn't help but think that if they'd have just gone, because most of the people on that jury knew he's a murderer. I mean, you got to be pretty stupid to think that there's any chance he didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I was feeling really good. I thought, well, these are intelligent, if not wonderfully intelligent people, but at least they got enough sense to know what's right and what's wrong. All they had to do was just tell the truth and just...
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
No, and
they were looking for beyond the shadow of a doubt as opposed to reasonable doubt, and I think Cochran talked them into that. Okay,
yeah.
I mean anybody can find in any case. There's almost never, unless there are a whole bunch of witnesses and it's ironclad and somebody's caught in the act of the crime. Other than that, there's always certain doubts that you can raise somewhere, but reasonable doubt, that's another story, not shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I suppose that's the way the judicial system works in this country.
Well, let's get rid of it, man. Start all over again because it ain't working. Have a great day, pal. Open line on the green line, 1-800-944. By the way, on a lighter note, let's see, we still got tickets for the Calgary Panther game on Sunday. Opening game Sunday night at the arena. Also, speaking of hockey, big three-way trade, which you probably didn't hear about because you're OJ intensive. Wendell Clark goes from the Nordique, which is now the Avalanche, goes to the Islanders. Steve Thomas goes from the Islanders to New Jersey, the Devils. And Claude Lemieux goes to the Avalanche. Got it? Okay.
610 WIOD, C69 down.
I killed Nicole.
Okay, 11:15 at WIOD, and let's go to Cutler Ridge. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If you and a lot of other people have got everything is so wrong about OJ and the way black people feel about the situation.
Yeah, well, straighten this out.
Well, first of all, black people, it's not so much that first of all, I don't think he's guilty. And they talk about the reason black people are happy is because he got off for doing something wrong. First of all, I don't think he killed him, and I don't think black people think that either. The evidence doesn't show that.
So, in other words, if you show the same exact evidence to black people and white people, you'll get a totally opposite reaction, just based, not because he's black, but just based on the fact that they interpret the evidence differently? Is that what you're saying?
First of all, the evidence we talk about is supposedly planted evidence, which is the blood spot.
Who said that?
Well, this is the evidence, the only evidence
Johnny
that
Cochran said that.
They don't have any other evidence. There's no murder weapon.
No, they don't have any. They don't have the hair fibers. They don't have the fibers in the Bronco. They don't have the fact that he lied about his alibi, that he wasn't there at home, that he had the window of opportunity, he had the motive, he beat the crap out of her, that she kept telling people that he was going to kill her. All of this they just manufactured. Mark Fuhrman made all of that up, right?
Talking about window of opportunity, when you look at it, first of all, he only had supposedly 5 or 6 minutes, to get to the house, shave, shower, and...
No, 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
You just pared it down to 5 or 6. You're pulling a Johnny Cochran on us. Yeah, 15 minutes.
Well, if he had, first of all, if he had killed them and had bloody clothes on, once he got into the Bronco, there should have been a whole lot more blood than that.
Well, how do you know that? Unless he took the shirt off, whatever the hell, the wool shirt off, and stashed it. Wait a minute. Whatever happened to that black bag that he was carrying?
Yeah,
whatever happened
to
the black bag?
Okay, but Park said he saw a black figure, a figure of a man wearing dark clothing.
Yeah.
Entering the house.
Yeah.
So apparently he still had on dark clothing. So
how do we know? How do we know he didn't have a sweater on over the dark shirt? We don't know what he was wearing.
Well, he had to do all that while driving and then dispose of it somewhere.
Yeah, in a black bag.
Well, then the
Ask
black...
Robert Kardashian what was in a black bag. You won't see that no more.
But this is all circumstantial.
Who was that running across? Who was that? No, we're not talking just circumstantial. Let's talk about an eyewitness, okay? The limo driver. The Bronco wasn't there, so he lied about that. One minute he was sleeping, he was taking a nap. The next minute they changed the alibi. He was out there chipping golf balls on the front lawn. Who was the man that walked across the lawn and went into the house and turned the lights on?
Yeah, when you, like you said, all this is circumstantial.
No, I'm asking you a question. Stop trying to slough it off. Who was the person that ran in the house and turned on the lights?
As far as I'm concerned, there was no man. This is what Park says. Now,
wait a minute. So in other words, he kept buzzing. Here's a guy who was just trying to do his job. He wanted, although he was white, he wanted to pick up OJ and take him to the airport because that was his job. He was driving a limo. He kept buzzing. No answer. Nobody home, okay? The guy runs across the lawn, goes in the house. The lights all go on in the house, so he assumes, well, that may be OJ. I better go because we're getting real late. He buzzes, and within a moment or two after he buzzes, there's OJ on the phone. Where'd he come from?
See, all these things just leads to add to the confusion.
Why don't you answer my? Why don't you explain that to me? Why don't you explain how it is that all of a sudden he answered the buzz after the guy walked into the house and the lights went on?
This is all the more reason why he should have been found not guilty, because of all this confusion.
I'm not asking you confusion. I'm asking you something specific.
I mean, who was
the person that ran across that lawn into the house and turned on the lights?
After all, OJ, his lawyer did say he was outside.
Are you hearing?
I don't know about that.
Do you have any hearing or what? Are your ears not working?
I hear what you're saying.
Then why don't you respond to it?
OJ claims to be outside shipping golf
What
balls.
was that thumping at 10:45 on the wall outside of Cato's room? What was it? Who was out there?
I have no idea, but this is what I'm saying. All this leads to the confusion, and this is all the reason why he should have been found not guilty.
So it's very convenient for you to say it's a bunch of confusion. Why don't you be honest with us, okay? Why don't you say, okay, now we got one for our side? Why don't you just be honest and stop bullcrapping me?
What I'm saying is that if he had it been
don't tell me you show. Don't show you me. Tell 200. Don't tell me that you show 20 million people the same evidence, and 10 million white people, 3/4 of them think that he's guilty, and 10 million black people, 3/4 of them think that he's innocent, and it's got nothing to do with race.
There's a lot of white people also that thinks he's innocent.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of white people yesterday claiming that he was innocent.
About 25%.
Yeah, but this is what
and there's about 25%. And there's about 25% of black people who think he did it.
There was more reasonable doubt.
Why didn't you bring that up? Why didn't you bring that up?
But see, the thing is reasonable doubt, and there was more reasonable doubt than anything else. Therefore, he should have been found not guilty, which I think is a just verdict.
Yeah, is that why one of the jurors said that they thought he was guilty, but that the prosecution did a lousy case of presenting the evidence?
All the more reason why he should have been found not guilty.
There you go. Even if they thought he was guilty, and even though they knew he did the crime, so the prosecution didn't do a perfect job, therefore, let's use that as an excuse for letting him off.
Only in America.
Yeah, okay. Good luck to you, pal. Only in America. How do you like that? Confusion and contusion. 80% in the poll on CNN. Yes, they watched the verdict. 19% said no. This is everybody, black, white, purple, Chinese. Where's the rest of it? Because the rest of it was a pretty substantial majority said they didn't agree with the verdict and yada, yada. Although they keep changing it because they keep asking different people. Oh, this guy, he was beautiful. Okay, a lot of confusion. That's why we decided that he didn't do it. Has nothing to do with race. Nothing to do with race. That's why if you watched all that stuff yesterday, all the black people were jumping down and cheering. See, I don't understand. What is there to cheer about? What is there to cheer about? Can you explain that to me? Then we'll all know. 26 at WIOD. As promised, OJ Simpson, for the first time in months, I guess, since the brief statement that he made in the courtroom the other day when a judge, in a moment of weakness last Friday, let him get up and speak, is making a public statement for the first time from his home in Brentwood. So let's go to AP Radio and pick it up.
Oh, man, just about everything bad because, the sale about 3x4, and the Lord, I ain't got no food, and man, I tell you, man, I'm a little crazy. When the sale around, I didn't do nothing with a knife, and he said, when they got trying to, Bubba said, man, Bubba said, I didn't do nothing. So what I'm telling you like that, you know what I'm saying, man? Oh, man, so what's up at that, man? I didn't do nothing. I was right in the back of the van. I didn't do nothing, man. No wife, full Bronco, so I was going to ask the gun in my head, but I didn't know no gun in my head because they know that I kind of had the gun in my head. So I was you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I didn't do nothing. The blood glove, they came over the bone in the night. like, you know, the nights drops on the floor, there's stains, that boy, little lights going on, the noise, and the DMA, I just said that, you know, I don't know, man, you know, I'm so he was so talking about you. It's my pleasure.
All right. 11:27 at WIOD, so we can quit picking on OJ now, because the Pope is coming here today.
Oh.
All right. I hope they got some good stuff up there in New York, because, you know, the Pope smokes the good stuff. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
Great.
Good. I don't want to quit picking on OJ. I want to ask you a question, and I want to make a comment.
Yeah.
I've said this before. Like you asked the question, what's all the cheering about? Even if you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, give OJ the benefit. He did not kill. He still beat his wife. I'm not going to worship a man like that.
Right. That was my point.
So that's what I'm saying. Black and white people cheering him along. You know, this man is no one to look up to.
Right.
He's a great football player in his time, but he's no great man now.
Yeah.
And another thing.
But you're confusing people with the facts. They don't want to hear that. See, and it's not only black people. All Americans, you know, and again, I'm generalizing, maybe 90% of the Americans, they set up these images. They make people into idols bigger than life because most of them feel that they have no life of their own, which is very, very sad, by the way. And so they create this vicarious existence through this hero worship, and they set people up on pedestals, and they create this image that somehow, that when they sit on the crapper, that there's gold in the bottom of the toilet after a couple of minutes. You know what I'm saying? There are gold bars in there.
I agree
and
with
they don't understand that it's the same as when they're sitting there.
I agree with you 100%.
So if somebody turns out to have all these pimples and warts and is not such a great person, they don't want to hear from it. They block it out.
And one more comment and then a quick question.
Yeah.
The comment is, anyone who's taken a basic psychology class, or just if you've ever been accused of doing something that you never did, you're...
What happened? Her phone just died? Okay, maybe she'll call me back, because I thought it was going to be something interesting, but her phone died like in mid-sentence. I think it's a commie plot. Okay, pound IOD, that purple line's open. Maybe she'll call back. Here's Deerfield Beach. Hello? Deerfield Beach? Long gone. Okay, like I said, here's Miami. Hello?
Neil.
Yes.
How you doing today?
Okay.
Hey, I've been listening to like the comparisons between Rodney King and OJ, and I'd like to say that most people don't realize that the jury found those people innocent, the police innocent in the Rodney King case, because they were supposed to find them guilty of attempted murder. And even though, you know, we've all seen the videos, I don't think anybody believes they actually tried to kill him.
Oh, well, you know, it's a matter of degree. Every one of those cops should have gone up for 20 years minimum.
Yeah, but I think they would have gone up, but I think the charges would got them off.
But nevertheless, I mean, it's apples and oranges. Rodney King is a scumbag. He's been arrested 80 billion times. He's one of the lowest life forms on the face of the earth. And, you know, and he wasn't murdered. He's still alive.
Well, I agree with you. And
Here we got two white people murdered, and the fact that they're white is not relevant, but two young people murdered, and now it's like we're making a trade-off. Okay, well, you got Rodney King, we'll get these two. Well, what does that mean? The guy's still alive.
Well, it's like the last caller that you had said, the guy from Cutler Ridge, he said, I'm confused. And what he really meant to say, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind's already made up.
Well, yeah, well, don't you understand that's a good smoke screen? You know, Chris Darden kept talking about blowing a lot of smoke. And so every time you try to, you know, put somebody's feet to the fire and say, okay, here's a very specific question. I want you to answer it. Since you're so convinced that he didn't do it, answer this question. And, well, I'm confused. You know, there's a lot of confusing stuff.
Well, I think we need to change the jury system, like you say, and get some people on there with some education.
And you know something? If we had people on there with education, if we had professional jurors, there would have been no race card, there would have been none of this bullcrap, and we would have had the right verdict.
Well, I think they all have an IQ test. Anybody at 50 or below can't be on a jury.
Okay, pal.
All right, thanks.
See ya. How about the lawyers? We have an open line at Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. I wonder how Barry Scheck and Bob Shapiro are feeling on Yom Kippur today, huh? Wonder how Louis Farrakhan feels about those two Jew attorneys that helped get O.J. off. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Yes, Neil, I really appreciate your candor. I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller. The jury system must be reformed.
Mm-hmm.
He was not tried by a jury of his peers.
That's for damn sure.
His peers are millionaires and professional people.
Right.
And had they been on there, they would have been able to see through the smoke and arrive at an intelligent verdict. But as long as people can be excused because they either will not or could not put their life on hold for 6 months, you're going to have this kind of result.
Mm-hmm.
My solution is you're excused from the jury only in the case of extreme medical necessity. Everybody else has to serve.
But what difference would that have made? I don't understand what difference that would have made.
Professional people get excused. They go down there and give a hard luck story about how it's going to affect their business.
I'm sorry. I just don't believe that. I think that you have to have professional jurors, because even people you're calling professional people, they're still swayed by the bull crap. They're still very pliable in terms of putting on an act in front of them and manipulating the evidence. Professional jurors are specifically trained into just looking at the facts for what they are and seeing through all the bull crap. That's got to happen.
Well, I think
won't happen in our lifetime, but someday it's got to happen. And all these people running around about, it's the cornerstone of the American freedoms, and the justice system sucks. It always has, and until they make that change, it always will.
Well, with the jury Johnny Cochran had, he could convince them that DNA was the chief ingredient in barbecue sauce.
Well, he convinced them that it flew around, that's for sure. They asked that one witness, does DNA fly? And I think these people would say, maybe it does. Maybe DNA's got wings.
Well, I feel real bad, but the outcome was predictable when you saw the constituency of the jury.
Right.
So why get upset about it? We've had 6 or 7 months to come to the realization.
I'm not upset so much with the verdict. Well, I am in one sense, but I expected all along. I'm upset with the reaction of black America to it, as though this is somehow some kind of a victory. And somebody made that comment last night on Geraldo's show. There were no winners in this. Everybody's a loser, including the country. There were no winners.
I agree 100%. I really do. And keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks a lot. Open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. We won the Super Bowl, all right. I still say that when he came out of the courtroom, he should have said, I'm going to Disneyland. Michael Eisner, you blew it, baby. Here was a chance of a lifetime. Put that damn Steve Young to shame. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You know what's funny? The only thing that what happened yesterday proves is that the legal system is all screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a lot of people that are very naive, that say how can racial overtones play into it. It's built into our society throughout in everything we do.
And you know what the saddest part of the whole deal is? All these experts, just like this Gloria Allred that they got on here on CNN for the 80th time today, another opportunist, almost all of these people that they have on the so-called experts, you know what they are? They're all lawyers.
Right.
So if you think that any of them are going to get down there and say, oh, yeah, we have to reform the justice system and it doesn't work, they're not going to say that, because most of them are making their money by exploiting what it is now.
Everyone is, I listened to Rick this morning, and he's either very naive or he has nothing to put better on the air. He was just sounding like such a naive person.
He voted for Pat Buchanan.
That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, sure it does.
No. Well, is he an idiot then?
Yes.
Okay.
But he would admit it.
Well, that's true, but I mean, it still says very little for,
Well, I mean, what specifically? I mean, I was driving in and I was getting psychotic too with some of the responses, but I think he was sitting back trying to say, let people talk, which in his case, probably a good idea.
Most definitely. Number two, the other thing that this verdict proves is that no matter what color you are, as long as you have money, you can do anything you want.
Right, that's the only thing
That's
it
the
proves.
bottom line.
That's all it proves. It's got nothing to do with whether he was black or he was white. He had a bunch of sharp-ass attorneys in there, a bunch of slick, mother-scratching attorneys who saw what they were able to put on that jury. They played him like a goddamn violin, and they got exactly what they wanted, and they kissed him on the cheek and said, okay, good boy, go home and do a nice job.
If the guy had been a truck driver who had a public defendant, he would have already been fried.
You would be hearing the sizzle of that goddamn chair right now.
Correct. And anyone who thinks that the decision was racial or this and that and is surprised by it is a naive idiot.
Okay.
I mean, we built it into...
Don't talk about Rick like that.
It just surprised the hell out of me.
Why?
Because, I thought he was a little smarter than that.
Well, it goes to show you learn something every day.
We've built this racial overtones into everything we do in this country from 100 or 200 years ago, and we have to learn to live with it.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing I heard when I got in the car this morning was Rick saying, I thought, it was 1995, I thought we've gotten beyond this. And I thought to myself, where is he living?
What the hell is he talking about? And he has the balls to say, oh, this hurt me when I went to bed. I took it to bed with me last night. Take a doll to bed, take your wife to bed, Rick, and just don't worry about important matters.
Well, don't forget, he lives in Parkland, okay?
Do the wheel of meat. It's much more fun that way.
Okay, pal. Do the meat. Okay, we have an open line of Broward. Rick getting bruised and battered on this, and deservedly so. It's 11:37 at WIOD. You need a bedliner for your truck? Here's the ideal place to go. Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories. Ideal's price and selection on bedliners is the best in South Florida. In fact, Ideal will beat anybody's price on bedliners, and their selection's incredible with over 2,000 in stock, including the new Bodyguard Cargo Grip Surface bedliner. It's up to 4 times less likely to let cargo slip than your regular smooth surface bedliner. It increases resale value, and it's resistant to products like gasoline, chemicals, and acid. And you'll find it at Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories. Ideal's got a 30,000 square foot showroom. They got a big one, and it's packed with everything you need at wholesale prices. You'll find them at 701 Northwest 57th Place in Fort Lauderdale. Ideal Automotive and Truck Accessories. You can be pretty damn sure they got exactly what you're looking for that truck. Call them today and find out. Toll free, 1-800-621-6464. 1-800-6264-60. What did I say? 1-800-621-6464. And by the way, what are we eating for lunch?
610 WIOD. Approaching critical mass.
Time to reload now. Time to reload. Time to reload. Time to reload now. Time to reload. Time to reload.
11:43 at WIDC. There's another classic example for you. Eric and Lyle Menendez, the retrial. I think it's going on right now as we speak, by the way. I think it's already underway. Not going to be televised, thank goodness. But anyway, the first one was televised on Court TV. Of course, there wasn't anywhere near the national interest. But here's another example, exactly the same thing. They get they ditched the first attorney, and they get the second. Now, keep in mind, these are two punks, two pieces of crap, two wealthy kids out there, another pair that they couldn't convict in L.A., admit that they killed Mommy and Daddy. The one kid, he goes back and reloads the gun because Mommy was still crawling around. She was still alive. He hit her with 5 shots, and she's still alive, like the Godfather. And he reloads and goes back and finishes the job. And then they bring in this hotshot bitch attorney who concocts, whose claim to fame is she gets people acquitted based on this, they were abused as children defense. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, here they got a shrink. I think it was Eric or whichever one, the younger one, had the shrink that he was going to. Never told the shrink about being abused by his father. But now their life was in jeopardy. They were afraid for their life. So they wound up getting a hung jury, and now they're having another goddamn trial. For all we know, they may actually get off. thanks to this hotshot bitch. Now, let me just ask you this question. Do you remember when they announced the verdict in the Menendez trial? Do you remember anybody getting up and cheering?
I think there were a lot of toupee-wearing guys.
Yeah, and he's got a bad hairpiece, too, by the way, okay? So we put him in an extra 20 years.
They flipped their lid.
But, no, seriously, there was nobody cheering on that because it was a gross miscarriage of justice. It was a sham. And guess what? They're both white, loaded with money, and real white. And they should both fry. They should both rot in hell, okay? Right next to OJ. But somehow for him, we make an exception. See, they both killed 2 people, and there's 2 of them. There's only 1 of him, so they only get credit for 1 apiece. Here's Little Haiti. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Okay, I have some mixed emotions about the verdict.
Yeah.
First of all, I think OJ is guilty, but and furthermore, I don't really like OJ all that much. He's someone who, like Michael Jackson and like Clarence Thomas have run away from their
Uncle
blackness.
Tom, yeah.
Exactly, and until it's convenient for them to use their race, they try to get as far from it as possible.
So why do we have all these people rallying around? It's just like when Michael Jackson got caught with his pants down and the little boys, too, and all of a sudden, he's being set up because he's black and he's made all this money, he's successful.
Okay, first of all, I agree with some of that, but you also have to understand that we have had a long time that we have really, really been set up. And so this is like a continuation.
But is that going to continue to be an excuse? I mean, is Spike Lee going to make a movie now, Black People Don't Commit Crimes?
Well, no. Well, first of all,
I can just see the movie. Black men don't do crime.
Black people put away a lot of black people every day because black people are juries. And conversely, we're talking about how everyone is putting this emphasis on the black jury and how the black jury did this and let them off. But look at what white juries have done. They let off the cops on Rodney King.
Yeah.
They're talking about Menendez. You just sit there and talked a long time about them, how they got a hung jury.
Right.
If they were 2 black kids who killed their mother or who killed another person, which would be even less of a crime when you think about it, just like Susan Smith. The fact that they're killing
but wait a
their
minute,
mother,
they were Hispanic. They were minorities. They're ethnic.
Well, but they have a jury. I mean, they looked white to me. I don't know if they were Hispanic or what, but they looked white to me, and they had a white jury.
Yeah.
And the white jury get them hung. If they were black, they would have been.
You're missing the point when you say black jurors put away black people every day.
Yeah.
The black people they're putting away can't afford the dream team to defend them.
Exactly.
Don't you understand that?
Exactly, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that the white jurors do the same thing here that the black jurors have done in the OJ case. White jurors did the same thing. For example, Susan Smith, if a black person would have killed those 2 kids, they would have been gone. They would have been fried. But they could relate, the white jurors could relate to the white mother more than they could relate to a black person.
And let me ask you this question. How many people in America, there's a good example, I'm glad you brought that up. How many of us got up and cheered, white people, when we found out that Susan Smith was only going to go to the can and actually might get out in whatever it was?
It's a little bit, I mean, again, I agree with you because I'm not a big fan of OJ, but it's a little bit different because it was seen as a victory over police harassment, which I've been a victim of, which I have friends who've been set up, by the police. The police do that stuff all the time.
But let me say it again. Before there was any Mark Fuhrman tape, before any of that, the polls were divided along racial lines the same as they were now.
Yeah, but it was still seen as a thing of police harassment.
Why?
And that again is, and until we get by that, and by saying until we get by that, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about white folks also. Until white folks get past this whole thing that every time you have a difference of opinion based on fact, it's always black people who are wrong. Always, always, always. Oh, it's the black jury who did this, and well, it's black people who are wrong for looting and rioting and stuff like. But it's never white people who are wrong. When black people didn't support the Gulf War at the
So in other words, Rodney King, the white people on the jury weren't wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that they were wrong, and that white jurors make the exact same mistakes that black jurors make.
You just got through saying the opposite, though.
What did I say?
You just got through saying the white people are never wrong. It's always the black people, no matter what the decision is.
No. I'm saying that seems to be the sentiment going on here.
No, it is not.
It's not.
I want to tell you something. This may be hard for you to understand. When OJ Simpson was arrested, and I looked at that, the fact that he's black, it had no bearing, because I don't look upon OJ Simpson as a black guy. I look upon him as a football player / celebrity. That's all.
Well, everyone says that.
It didn't make any difference to most people whether he was black because most people admired him anyway.
Right.
So how have we come from full circle from a guy who everybody admired, and there was black as well as white people running on a freeway, OJ, go OJ, when he was doing the thing in the Bronco.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it's like, the white people had it in for OJ because he's black. That's a pile of crap. That's bullcrap, man.
Again, I agree with it in this particular case that I think OJ's guilty.
So that's all we're talking about is this particular case.
But you can't look at it in
wait a minute. Don't try to feed me the logic that we're going to undo all the prior and future injustices by giving one to the good guys or whatever you want. I mean, that's bullcrap.
That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is
that the state of California spent $10 million to try this guy, and we get a joke. We get a farce.
You have to look at this case in the broader. This is only a part of a pattern. This has happened. The same thing has happened before.
I don't look at this case as part of a pattern. I look at this as a very specific case. There are 2 dead people. We've never had a case this notorious, this publicized in the history of this country or maybe of the world. And so I look at it specifically as whether we have justice in America or whether we're going to keep having guys like you making excuses about other cases. I don't want to hear about other cases. I want to hear about these 2 dead people and who killed them. And I want to see somebody pay for it. Is that wrong?
No, not for this case.
Well, there you go.
But for the broader, for the broader.
I don't care about the broader. No, we don't hold trials for the broader.
Well, you should because
no, we don't. And that's the end of my conversation with you, man, because you're a bozo. We should. And this is Johnny Cochran Jr. Jury summation all over again. Don't base your decision on the evidence in this case. Here's your chance. It's the only chance in your life any of you punks are ever going to have a chance to make a statement. Send a message. And they did. And this guy's got the balls to come on the air here sounding very articulate. See, this goes to show you, just because somebody's educated and can speak doesn't mean they got any brains. That's a really stupid argument, man. Look at the broad picture. I don't want to look at the broad picture. Any more than I want to look at black Americans or white Americans. I deal with them one at a time, just like I said. So let's let OJ off because now that kind of balances out the broad picture a little bit better. But just remember, the white people always make the right decision and the blacks always make the wrong. That's what we honkies say. Right. That's why when Susan Smith wasn't given a chair, man, there were those of us who were ready to go up and do it ourselves. Because we had so much sympathy for this piece of trash, for this some human piece of garbage that drowned her 2 little kids. She should be 6 feet under right now. She should be pushing up daisies. And the last time I looked, she was pretty goddamn white. Give me some justice. Don't give me your emotional bullcrap, your ethnic paranoia. Give me some goddamn justice, baby, and start making human life worth something in America again. Instead of wasting all your time with your goddamn blind racial and hysterical emotional garbage. I'd like to live before I croak in a country where human life has some value, and this one ain't it.
When the jury found OJ Simpson not guilty, 610 WIOD News brought you South Florida's immediate reaction.
Money does buy you a certain amount of freedom. I know that he had something to do with it.
I've never been so stunned.
When people want to know, when people want to talk, news, talk, and entertainment radio, 610 WIOD.
11:55 at WIOD. Remember that thing in, was it New Times? About how I'm the voice of angry white Miami, that last best and worst poll thing. I'm not the voice of angry anybody. I'm just the voice of somebody that has an opinion just like everybody else does. But how come it's okay? It's interesting since they use that selection of words. How come it's okay for black people to be upset and to be pissed off? And yet if white people or anybody else gets upset, then we don't have a right to do it. See, because I think that decent people of all colors and backgrounds, and you throw away all the other exterior bullcrap, I think that decent people just want to live and, let live and not be harassed and be able to walk the streets and live like civilized people and not get murdered, not have their kids shot on the way to school. I think that's what most civilized people of all backgrounds want. Civilized. And I think that people who make excuses for barbaric acts and those who commit them, I think they're just as bad as the barbarians themselves. That's my opinion. Here's Boca. Hello.
Boca?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. For starters, anyone listening to Johnny Cochran's address to the jury the other day, they had... How could he... You could tell he didn't even believe what he was saying. He was an act. It was all an act just to get the jury to go their way.
Right, that's the way it works.
How could
Powers
anybody,
of persuasion,
how could anybody
acting.
on the jury or off the jury look at that and say he's being sincere? He wasn't.
Yeah.
He was just talking out of his...
Well, he was doing his job. That's right. He's getting paid a lot of money, and he's doing a job and putting on an act. And that's the basic premise of our jury system as it is today, is who can put on a better act, the prosecution or the defense. And if you can afford the best actors, you'll probably get off.
And with that cross he was wearing on his lapel, what a joke.
Yeah.
He's not religious.
How about when he put that schmata on his head?
Oh, God.
He's standing right in front of the jury in a very well-lit courtroom. He's been standing there for like 2 or 3 hours. He puts a schmata on his head and says, well, is this a disguise? Can't you see who I am? Do you have any idea who I am? And I'm thinking, yeah, a real asshole, man, with a schmata on your head.
You know, to change the subject, I was on the phone with you guys the other day when you had the Rim Man on, and I didn't get on the radio because I had to go. I couldn't wait.
Right.
I had to go back to work. But why is it they show all these preseason football games on TV, but they don't show any preseason hockey games?
Because it's Miami, because it's a Bush League town. I've been watching all kinds of games. You should have seen a game, the Penguins and the Rangers last night, if you had a satellite.
Yeah.
And the Rangers were ahead 4-2 with like a minute to go, and the Penguins scored twice in the last minute. And before the overtime, Colin Campbell, the coach of the Rangers, was so pissed off, he didn't even come out for the overtime.
And last year, ESPN2 had all kinds of preseason games on, and I finally got ESPN2 on my cable company, and now they're not showing any of the preseason games.
Well, you only got a couple more days to wait, pal. It all starts Friday.
Do you still have tickets for Calgary?
Do I have any to give away?
Yeah.
Wish I did. But there's plenty available, I think. In fact, I tried the Panther Pack on Sunday morning.
All righty.
Okay, pal. See you there. Yeah, that's the sad part. Here we got the opening game of the regular season, and it looks like we're going to have maybe an exciting team this year. I hope, I pray, I really wish. We got a lot of new young kids. It looks like they're going to go out there and kick some ass and beat some people around and maybe beat some people on the ice. And we got plenty of seats from what I understand. They're too embarrassed to tell me how many, but let's fill that place up for Sunday night for Calgary, okay? Because the last thing we need to do is give Wayne and Mickey another excuse. Oh, no, they're not going to even show up this year. We don't want to build no arena. Don't give them no excuse, because in the meantime, with all their $2.5 billion, they're still looking for somebody else to bail them out. Let's at least make the most, even if it is our last season with the Panthers, let's make the most of it and get out there and enjoy it, okay? You know what I'm saying? Now, what about that parking spot? See, you think I'm all worked up about OJ. I couldn't give a flying crap less about that. I want my parking spot, Miss Ratchet. That's what I want. How's Tony Three Fingers Bologna Marino doing? Did he ever call in? Oh, he gave you that sign, huh? Uh-oh. Better lay low, baby. Something about he sent a vest over here with lunch. Something about sleeping with the fishes. Okay, of course, that's all just fictitious. So anyway, we got the Panthers coming up. We got that big trade that nobody, of course, cares about because they don't know who Wendell Clark is, and they certainly don't know who Claude Lemieux is, even though they won a Stanley Cup, and they definitely don't know who Steve Thomas is because basically he played on the Islanders all those years, and they were boring. And guess what? Even with Wendell Clark, they're still going to suck. They're still going to be boring, and the Panthers will still finish well ahead of them in the standings. Promise.
The foremost four-letter word. 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Esta es el show de la mañana con Neil Rogers. Esta es su cerebro. ¿Tienes preguntas?
He likes to set up colored people. He likes to frame the colored people.
Oh, man.
Officer Fuhrman, driving through Brentwood at night with a glove in his bag. His evidence bag waits at the Bronco, opens the window to leave a few drops on the floor. A smudge on the door, Officer Mark Fuhrman. Where did that blood come from? Officer Mark Fuhrman, he dropped the bloody glove. Simpson and Cato, back from a burger and fries at a restaurant near. A noise in the rear, OJ is napping, dropping his socks near the bed, but there's somebody there. Planting some hair, Officer Mark Fuhrman.
I killed Nicole.
Where did the blood come from? Officer Mark Fuhrman, he dropped the bloody glove.
1207 at WIOD. We have an open line on the green line if you'd like to join in this as we solve all of the problems of America. After today, it's no longer acceptable, okay? Because like that guy said, look at the broad picture or just look at the broad. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes.
It's David Zuckerman's mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Lashana Tova.
Okay, out of your, oh, man. Okay, 2 or 3 words I can handle, okay? Blow it out your ass. Open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
Yes, I want to tell you an experience I had with the jury system last week. I think it shows a lot of light on what the problem here is. I thought I'd do my civic duty and go down. I have my own business, so I thought I can afford a few days. And so I go down to this thing, and it was a jury consisting of 6 whites, 3 Hispanics, and 3 black women. And it was a guy being tried, a black guy, being tried for drug distribution, pot.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal was, it was a pretty, it seemed like a pretty shut case. He was a freight forwarder, and they caught him with 2,000 pounds of marijuana, and it was part of a 12,000-pound shipment. So,
and it was Sammy Smith or Mark Duper?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there wouldn't be any left. It had been them. And in any case, the situation was that he claimed he didn't know anything about it, that someone had dropped it off for shipping. And of course, there's no bill of lading. There were 40 of these 50-pound plastic bags.
Mm-hmm.
And during the time that it was there, someone had slashed open one of it, obviously trying out the ganja. So anyways, it went on and on. So this last couple of days, then we start deliberation. And as I said, it seemed like a pretty close case. One of the black women says, well, it's reasonable that maybe he didn't know about it. We said, well, how could you not know about it? You can smell the stuff a mile away. There it was evident. There's no bill of lading.
Well, maybe she's got a sinus problem. Maybe she couldn't smell
Exactly. That maybe was exactly the thing.
You should have gone, smell that?
Smell that, exactly. And so she said, in these exact words, well, maybe he went to McDonald's when it came and he didn't see it. Oh, Jesus Christ, what is going on
Got a lot
here?
of criminals going to McDonald's, I'll tell you that.
Well, certainly. This went on for 6 hours, and at the end of 6 hours, one of the 3 women was this cow from Overtown, and I say that because she didn't say anything, and finally I got so exasperated with her, I said, ma'am, what do you think? What do you think about this? She hadn't said a thing. And she said, well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And to make a long story short, hung jury.
Rest my case.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And you know what? I was an idealist when I went in there. I really was. And when I left there, this was last Thursday, when I left, I knew that OJ was guilty, but I also knew that boy is going to be drinking champagne next week. I bet any money on it.
Don't say boy.
It's the fault of this jury system.
Don't be saying boy.
Yeah, exactly. My apologies, of course.
Okay.
And I'm a racist, aren't I? Thank you, Neil.
Okay, pal.
Take care.
Don't do it again.
Bye-bye.
Open line and date, 751-9463. One on the green line. So anyway, one of the statements from one of the jurors they're starting to release, because, pretty soon they're all going to be on all the talking head shows. They'll be coming out with their book, their screenplays, their infomercials. And it was garbage in, garbage out, talking about the evidence and possibility for contamination. So that's the excuse. See, they're going to give you all the right reasons now when they start opening up their mouth and going public. But the fact of the matter is that we know what it's all about. We know what it's all about because you can't decide 8 months of testimony and 3.5 hours of deliberation if you're really deliberating. And the only reason they looked at Alan Park's direct examination again and had it read back to him is so they could convince those 2 holdouts, hey, they're still dubious and he still wasn't sure of this, and maybe the Bronco was there, he couldn't see because of the traffic and the blah, blah, blah. And so, okay, we give up, we want to go home. And that was it. But it's because of contaminated evidence and et cetera, right? That's what Malcolm X said. That's what Martin Luther King said. That's what George Washington, Cleveland, Benjamin Jones said. That's what they all said. Right? That's right. That's what Kareem Abdul-Schwartz said. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first of all, thanks. You hit a lot of nails right on the head today.
Yes, I did.
And you were just talking about a CNN report with the talking about the evidence, contamination here, contamination there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go again. Here's something that you said earlier. They're making statements, and I'm going to quote you, palpable for public consumption.
Right, of course.
Beautiful, Neil. And
you notice how they waited till the next day so they had plenty of time to cover their ass and, consult with the attorneys and make sure that they knew. Because now they all got their own agents and attorneys, you notice that. Make sure, what they come public with so it sounds acceptable.
Right. Neil, I'd like to hit on one small little subject, and it was mentioned, and you mentioned it way back in the beginning of the trial, and now a lot of people talk about it. It's the subject of money buys justice.
Yeah. There's no question.
Yeah, and you alluded to it in the very beginning of the trial as the original defense team added Flea Bailey. And then after Flea Bailey, then you saw Dershowitz pop in.
Mm-hmm.
And you even alluded to it. Yeah, they're building up the team. You even said it. They're building up a team. They're building up a team here. But I have to say this. Even though I know we both feel the same way about O.J. Simpson's guilt, okay, there's no doubt about that. But unfortunately, if you yourself, since you have a lot of connections and you know a lot of people, if you sit down with any big-time attorney or someone who works in a very, very prestigious law firm, they will tell you this, Neil, and I want to be honest with you. They'll tell you that they would not even let Marcia Clark go out and get lunch for them.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's the point. The point is when you got, prosecutors who are working for the county who are getting paid diddly squat, and you got multimillionaire hotshot attorneys on the other side, the dream team, the best the money can buy, it's like letting the Yankees play against Piper High School. What's the chance?
Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
There you go. And you're right. And that's why Menendez...
So all these black people that are cheering, I hope that if somebody tries to frame them and they wind up with their ass in court on the line, I hope they got $4 or $5 million, because if they don't, man, they're not going to see no justice like OJ did.
Yeah, great.
They're in a dream world.
You got it. So look, I won't hold you up, and I just want to repeat one thing you said, and I loved it. The only justice in this country is on the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
Good job, Neil.
See ya. Yeah, and he almost blew that game for him last night, David Justice. But how about, what's his name? Who the hell hit the home run? Hit 2 home runs. Chipper. He's a chipper off the old block, but boy, is he ugly.
10, WIOD. No shirt, no shoes, no problem.
I killed Nicole.
The other night, was there a fight on the 4th of July? 'Cause now his cousin's dead, a bullet in the head. What happened? We don't know. Something fishy smells, but he won't tell. So we'll ask Brian, what did you do? Brian, what did you do? Seems not so long. He was standing on his folks' lawn, and he was crying.
All right,
Crying, it's hard to understand. It was an accident with 2 shots flying. I don't know why your agent Drew claims the cops' reports aren't true. I want to know some more, so tell me what's the score. Brian, what did you do accidentally, or just maybe you're lying? What did you do, Brian? What did you do? Yes, now he's gone, and from this moment on, we're asking Brian, 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 yeah, Brian, Brian.
Okay.
What did you do?
12:20 at WIOD. Let's do a lady in Aventura. Hello. Hello? Lady in Aventura gone? How can she be gone? Hello? You just spoke to her? And she's what? Oh, she's long gone. Okay, bitch. Open line at Dade, 751-9463. How are we going to be doing the next break? We just came back. All right, like I said, don't worry about this because, hey, they'll hang on forever.
There's a fire burning in your home or backyard this summer? Make sure it's a delightful fire from Evenings Delight, South Florida's fireplace and barbecue specialty store. Evenings Delight is barbecues for your backyard and patio with over 60 models on display, including gas, electric, and charcoal. Evenings Delight carries a full line of Fire Magic and Weber grills. And if your existing grill needs repair, choose from Evening Delight's selection of over 5,000 MHP barbecue replacement parts. Right now, get a 25,000 BTU barbecue grill with tank and gas for $129 $1,000 through September 30th. And did you know that Evenings Delight can install a Martin real wood burning fireplace from $895 almost anywhere in any home, including your living room, bedroom, or even your bathroom? If you have an existing fireplace, Evenings Delight carries a full line of accessories and quality products from Hallmark, Portland, and Ready Built. Evenings Delight offers professional installation, repair, or assembly on everything they sell. Evenings Delight, 2 South Florida locations. In Miami, a mile south of Dadeland on US 1, and in Fort Lauderdale, Powerline Road between Oakland Park Boulevard and Commercial Boulevard.
John Michael Montgomery. Love you like that. It's the spectacular celebration of America's music. Reba McEntire. The CMA Awards, hosted by superstar Vince Gill and scheduled to appear Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Shania Twain, and many more. The CMA Awards live from Nashville.
Tonight at 8 on WFOR 4 South Florida. Newspaper ads, TV spots, campaign signs. They're all part of the game if you run for office. And they're expensive. Now, News 4 reveals how many prominent politicians are getting free advertising with signs all over South Florida. Find out how their names get on street corners, even public buildings, and who's paying for it. The Name Game. Tonight at 11 on News 4 South Florida.
Under cover of darkness, an insidious force is working to doom the future of all South Florida radio stations except one, 610 WIOD. More than 100 new people a day move to South Florida, and every one of them has been offered a choice. Listen all day to 610 WIOD or be shipped back to Waterloo. They've seen Waterloo. They're listening. It works like this. Listener, you're out of here. And thank you. From News Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Okay. 1225 at WIOD. Let's go to a Lady Mobile in Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, I got some information that OJ was coming to Turnberry this week. Hello?
What are you talking about?
I just got some information that OJ was coming to Turnberry to vacation with Paula Barbieri, and I think Miami should let him know loud
Who
and
said
clear.
that? He's going to Mexico. He's going to Robert Kardashian's joint near Cozumel in Mexico.
Well, I'm just passing it on, and I think people
Passing what on? You're giving misinformation, sweetheart. You're full of crap. We have an open line in Dade, 751, and of course she's also trying to start a bunch of bull crap, okay? Go find something productive to do. Go feed a starving kid somewhere, will you? Okay, you stupid bitch.
I think people should listen. I have it through the grapevine.
Yeah. Blow it out your ass. Just what we need is a bunch of troublemakers now, okay? Just get on with your life, okay? We're just having a little conversation here in the aftermath. It isn't going to change a goddamn thing. Just people are venting, me especially, but everybody else too, and that's it. But don't be a goddamn shot disturber. If you want to go tell somebody off, go up to New York and talk to the Pope. Tell him what a piece of crap he is. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
Great.
Oh, that's good. I wanted to ask you a question and pose this to your callers, too. Maybe you could, it would make me feel a little better, is why did they, where's Fuhrman now? Why is there not perjury charges pending?
There aren't going to be any perjury charges against him because the area that he lied about had nothing to do. It was not pertinent to the case, to the defense, to anything else, and there are not going to be any perjury charges at all.
But if I thought you go to court of law, they say you got to tell the truth.
Did you hear what I just got through saying, sir? Can I draw you a roadmap? That's the law. I didn't invent it. I'm just explaining it to you.
Well, to me, it says they ask you to tell the truth. And you go
Let me say it again. His lies were not relevant to any of the evidence in the case, and therefore they're not going to have any perjury trial because they got nothing. He didn't perjure himself in the technical sense of the law. Welcome to America, pal, and now you feel worse. There, however, ought to be internal investigations in the LAPD to all of these incidents over the past however many years since he was on the force and going back, and he ought to have his ass on the fire for that, including a lot of other cops. And by the way, I think it's really, really sad that Detective Philip Van Adder, who according to just about everybody who knows him, I mean, when you find a good cop, for crying out loud, don't smear him, don't rip him, give him credit. A good cop, and Johnny Cochran goes up there with his big, broad paintbrush. Wasn't Hitler a house painter? I think he said that, too. Goes up there with his big, broad brush, and now, of course, out of desperation, he's painting this conspiracy. Got to find somebody else to put in there, because this guy, after all, was walking around with OJ's blood. And I can't think of anything more vile than what Cochran did there. Just, just generalities. talked to some, made a joke with some mafia hitman up in the hallway there. Right. Okay. We believe all your credible witnesses, Johnny. See, I'm going to tell you one thing. It's a goddamn good thing the defense, the way our system works, doesn't have to prove anything because, man, they proved nothing. They had Rosa Lopez. They had Marianne Gertjes. They had that one guy that in the neighborhood that blew up in their face. Then they had the mafia hitman that they never put on the stand. They had no defense. None. But like he said, we don't got to prove nothing, and so that's why we didn't. And we don't know who that was running in the house. We have no idea what that was on the wall outside Cato's room. But, hey, we don't got to prove nothing. Like Joey Buttafuoco, I didn't do nothing. Here's Miami on the purple line. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy holidays.
And back to you.
Hey, did you happen to hear, I don't know if somebody already brought this up, did you happen to hear Drew Rosenhaus yesterday?
No.
He got on the air and was screaming about the fact that now he wishes to God that he could have OJ as his client because he's going to be the wealthiest athlete in the world, and he would do anything to have this guy as his client. Well, of course,
he doesn't care. He likes that kind of guy. He likes Brian Blades. He likes all these guys. In fact, Mark Duper, all the guys who turn out to be the biggest scumbags, they're Drew Rosenhaus's clients.
I mean, I was amazed.
Now, where did you hear that?
It was on the NBC station, Channel 6, or something like that. They interviewed him with J.B. Brown. And he got on and just said, man, he would do anything to have this guy. I mean,
and isn't that interesting, by the way, that the White Dolphin players refused to be interviewed because just about every one of them said that the verdict was wrong.
Yeah. Well, just thought I'd pass on. I was surprised that nobody else, kind of called in about that.
Hey, birds of a feather flock together, man.
Have a good day, Neil.
And back to you. Yeah, water seeks its own level, all the old cliches. Drew Rosenhaus, you're a slimeball, baby. You're scum. And the fact that Jeff DeForest had you on the air that night, right there at Joe Robbie Stadium, had a chance to pin your ass to the goddamn wall after this Brian Blades thing and licked you all over your body, baby. Unbelievable. Hang your head in shame, Defoe. I think Defoe's auditioning for CNN. Oh, seriously, because if you lick everybody's ass, man, you get a job on air in a heartbeat. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami. Buenos dias. Adios, hasta que me olvides. Here's a lady in the Hallandale. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I just want to tell you one good comment you're making today is when people look at OJ, they don't look at him as a black man. They look at him as a superstar, a celebrity.
When white people look at OJ, they look at him as a superstar and a celebrity, not as a famous black person.
And I
don't know how when black people, because I'm not black, but one gets the assumption that they have a different perception of him.
And I want to also ask your opinion. What do you think about the 3 white jurors that were on that case? I mean, it would only take one person.
There was one white woman and 2 Hispanic, one Hispanic and 2 white women.
It would have taken only one of them to
well,
make
the first vote was 10-2, 10 not guilty and 2 that were holding out, and then they watched the. Wait a minute, what we got? I'm on for right now. Just calm down, George. I'm not missing Nick naked in bed. Will you just relax? He's motioning, he's gesturing, he's grabbing himself. Sharon's not that bad all of a sudden now, huh? So anyway, the first vote was 10-2. I assume that the holdouts were probably the 2 white women. And then they said, oh, well, we all want to go home anyway. Let's go watch some of that testimony. We'll put on a good act. They said, okay, sounds good to me.
I don't know. It's crazy. But, Johnny Cochran said last night that he was interviewed. He goes, oh, we didn't play the race card. The prosecution is the one that started that by putting Fuhrman on. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Oh, well.
Okay, good luck to us.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, so Nick and Sharon, I think, are going at it again. What is that? They're doing it for the 87th time on their wedding night, on the day of their daughter's wedding. We have an open line in Dade, 751. And, look at this. Here's Matt's boyfriend. He's getting pissed off now. I think Paul's getting to him here. See, the young and the hung, the soaps are back on. They had a thing on the entertainment segment on CNN before with that bitch. What's her name? You know the one I'm talking about. Oh, I hate her. That real sour-faced old bag that's on the entertainment show. Oh, man, I just despise her. But anyway, they had that segment about with the TV executives, and they're talking about the fact that they're kissing the ground, that this is over with finally, because CNN and Court TV were taking away all their viewers, and the new fall shows, that the viewership for the new fall shows was very, very low because they were all into this, and they're just kissing the ground, it's over. Maybe they had something to do with it. Here's the mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil, well, I want to say a few things because I know what the jury did yesterday was wrong. I'm a black man, but I thought he was guilty.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right for now you're getting all these white people calling up and saying what the jury did wrong because white people do it too. Because just like that same black jury found O.J. not guilty with the evidence they had, you had a white jury to find them 4 cops not guilty with the evidence they had.
In what?
So white people do
In
it
what?
too.
You talking about Rodney King?
Yeah, so white people do it too.
Let me ask you something. Is Rodney King dead?
No, he's not dead. I thought what they did was wrong. I thought he was guilty. But I'm just saying, white people do it too.
So in other words, let's just keep doing it until until we even up the score. Is that it?
No, I'm not saying that you got to even up the score. But I'm saying,
what do you point
the finger?
Well, wait a minute. What do you think of my idea of having professional jurors instead of bringing all these schmucks in from off the street and letting them decide instead of?
Yeah, I think that's more better.
Okay.
Then they have it in this any old average jackass get on there and want to judge somebody fake.
Right.
So they have professional do it.
You got it. You got it, man.
All right.
Thanks. See, there you go. I rest my case. Boy, Ryan's looking pretty good today, huh? All right. Oh, Ryan, don't go back to that bitch, okay? I mean, if you can't do better than that, you might as well just take that tie and wrap it around your neck. She is just skanky. Victoria. She reminds me of Queen Victoria or some other queen. Anyway, where are we going? 1234 WIOD. Let's go to Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, racism, it works both ways at the police. My sister is in New Jersey, and, we're white, and she had all black friends. There were 3 carloads of them.
Yeah.
Her friend in the front, her car was in the middle, and someone behind them. Now, the person in front of her got pulled over by a state trooper, and he was black. And, he's talking to him, and then he comes back to my sister, and she says, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm following him. And he goes, oh, okay. And he gave her a ticket, and nobody else.
Yeah.
All right? My sister took him to court, and he said he pulled her over, and he didn't know anything about anybody else.
Yeah.
And he lied. So, I mean, you could think of both ways, too.
Was it in the daytime or at nighttime?
I'm not sure. But all I'm saying, she was the only white person among the 3 cars, and she was driving.
See, because if it was at nighttime, unless they were smiling in the other car... No, he probably thought the other car was empty, see? He probably thought she was the only driver. No, seriously, because at nighttime it's hard to see, it's not a racial comment, but it's just true. When it's dark, unless black folks are smiling a lot, you can see those teeth. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, you got to think logically. I mean, you got to know that there's some black cops out there that,
Of course, there's plenty of hate to go around for everybody, pal. There's plenty of it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I read a newspaper article somewhere up northern Florida.
Yeah.
That it was a black cop and he just made chief or something like that, and he was talking about when he was a kid running through the town, he was being chased by a gang of white kids, and he went up to the white cop, and the white cop told him, well, you better get out of here, I guess. So you got to think that it's got to play something. I mean, there's going to be some people that got the hatred in them that just want to take revenge, Don't
worry about northern Florida, man. This hurricane's going to blow them off the map, so it'll solve that problem. Have a great day, pal.
Oh, wait, in closing?
In closing, yes.
Legalize it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Open line and Opalize what? Open line in the green line, 1-800-9. Well, it's called Opal, man. It's Hurricane Opal. It's a bad one, man. And, of course, the Lord does work in mysterious ways. And those rednecks up there in the Panhandle who think, they've been busy shooting doctors at abortion clinics. They think that they've been doing the work of the Lord, and all of a sudden, oh, guess what? Surprise, he's been picking on you over and over. When are you going to get the message up there, okay, all you yahoos in Pensacola and all you assholes up in Tallahassee? He's pretty pissed off. Like those idiots that called Rick and said, yeah, Rick, you're right, pal. The guy that called before Rick's an idiot. That guy that called up and then the wife got on the phone this morning, and she started going into this thing about, oh, well, we're Christians and we believe in God and we prayed for the right verdict. I wonder if Fred Goldman prayed for the right verdict, huh? Of course, it is Yom Kippur.
Oy.
Yeah, and he's Jewish, see, although I thought it was the same God. I guess God's got that hearing problem. Somebody please buy him a miracle ear, because it would be a miracle if he ever answered your prayer. Hi, Karen.
I listen to your radio all the time, and I've never called. But today I need to call.
Today you're motivated.
Today I'm motivated.
Okay.
A couple of comments. The first one is that I'm not from here. I'm from Canada. And when you were talking about Canada and how Canadians react to this, I'm a black person from Canada.
Right.
And first of all, I believe that he did it. That's the first thing.
Right.
And I understand, living in America now, why people think that he didn't do it. Do you understand me? Yeah?
Maybe.
Okay.
They just...
I've only been here 4 years.
Karen,
Okay.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
They just finished the Paul Bernardo trial, as you know, up in Canada and Toronto.
Yes, I know about that. My mother was telling me that was gruesome and horrible.
Right.
And
but they did. Number one, they did not put it on television.
Yes, they didn't.
Number two, the fact that he was white had nothing to do with the
agreed.
verdict. And they got really the right verdict, except of course for the wife, who really she plea bargained away a lesser verdict. But they got the right verdict.
And I believe that OJ did it. And and everybody in my office is non-black, and they all think he didn't do it, and I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand living in America why a lot of black Americans think that he did not do it.
Well, explain that to me.
The race issue, like you were saying earlier, in Canada, it's very different. We don't notice it. I'm married to a black American, and when I took him home, he was like stunned. I took him in the subway. He couldn't believe it. He's like, people don't notice. I said, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care. But people here are different.
Where in Canada you're from?
Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Big city, yeah.
Toronto's great.
And I understand living here and working here as a professional why a lot of black Americans think the way that they do, and I certainly sympathize with all of them, and I understand living here now because people look at me and view me as a black American. I say, listen, I'm not a black American, I'm a Canadian, and I don't see things the way that you do because I wasn't raised like you were. You know, I mean, my husband comes from a small town, and there's a black neighborhood. It's like 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? And I understand why they acquitted him, although I disagree.
Okay. Thanks,
Really?
Karen.
Okay.
See you at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Bye. They
Bye-bye.
lose all the time.
I know.
I know, they stink. My father still watches them.
So do I.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Open line and day. They're not going to lose this year. Go Leafs, go, baby. We're going to kick some ass. Right, Bob Cole? Let's get Bob Cole and Harry Neal on here and screw this OJ crap. Let's get some hockey going, baby. All right. I don't think I got any. And don't give me any of that Mike Lang stuff today, okay? Give him a rest until the weekend. He'll need it after the Leafs beat the crap out of the Penguins Saturday. Now, okay, we'll get some of that for you. So anyway, like I said, you go to a real... I mean, this country, I'm telling you, man, you're dreaming. You're just dreaming. It's not just a fag thing either. They're probably saying, well, he likes it because he goes to Berlin or in Rome, and there's guys holding hands and dykes walking around. That's right. And nobody cares, and nobody's yelling out faggot, and nobody gives a damn. And there's all kinds, like in Toronto, man, you've got a tremendous Oriental population. You got a little Italy there, an enormous number of Italians. You've got a lot of black people. You've got a tremendous number of people from the Middle East. I don't know what the hell they are. Pakistani, who knows what. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's right across the border. And yeah, they have a certain amount of violent crime, but nothing like here. Nothing like here. Not even close. And they have 11% unemployment up there, and yet they don't use it as an excuse to be blowing each other away. In fact, the homeless people, they sit, it's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. They sit on a sidewalk in front of stores at night that are closed, and they say real quietly, spare some change. They have their little cupper, and you can't even hear them. And I want to coach them and say, hey, if you ever want to get any change, you better speak up a little bit, eh? Because nobody can hear you. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been a long-time listener, and this is the second time I've ever called you.
Okay.
I just want to thank you for airing the frustrations of people like me. I mean, I was shaking yesterday when I heard the verdict, and I was just so mad that I didn't go out, and start smashing windows.
Yeah.
I kept it to myself, but listening to you has made me feel so much better. And also, I'd like to bring up another point. If that juror, number 6, did give the black power sign,
yeah,
I don't care if the Pope would have found the gloves. He would have been found innocent. I think they made up their mind a long time ago.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, I mean, how could you do that?
End of the trial, one of these creeps gets up, and I do say creeps because no intelligent jury, regardless of their race, nobody could have conducted themselves the way that they did, and gives the black power sign.
Right.
What
how
is
could he do that in front of the family? That's what gets me. The girl was crying, upset.
Yeah.
I was upset. If I would have been there, I mean, I don't know what I would have done, but I just want to thank you, Neil. You've been great, and as I said, you've aired my frustrations. I was shaking yesterday, and I don't know what to do, but what can I do?
Life
I
goes
just have
on,
to
man.
take it.
Life in America.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Hang in there. I'm shaking out, too, because Nick just put his shirt on. Damn it. I'm sorry. We have an open line in Broward, 524. Well, listen, after the first 85 times, even he's wearing out. Now, she looks pretty happy, don't she? See, so evidently she forgot all about the rape. She forgot about Matt. And just for one night, she finally said, okay, let's see what that thing looks like. All right. So anyway, things are looking up now. The young and horny is moving along. We're progressing. He's going to get off. Matt's going to probably wind up behind bars for the rest of his life, plus his little ugly boyfriend there is going to go along with him, I think, sit on his lap, keep him company. That'll be the next big trial on TV, the Matt Clark trial. Huh? Let's have an all-black jury for that one, too.
From the time they found the bodies to the words OJ's been dying to hear. The best radio news team in South Florida brought you the trial of the century.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
The best news, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
1251 at WIOD. And by the way, to my friends up the hall there at the end of the hall at Hot 105, you didn't see any of the stuff that Channel 4 did yesterday? Because they had it on the 5 o'clock news. They had a couple of clips of me and mostly listening to the callers. And then they showed it again at 6, where they showed it coming up to 1 o'clock, and I said, it's goddamn verdict time, or whatever the hell I said. It's 1 o'clock. And I can't believe, number one, they put the goddamn on there. Then they switched over, and we heard one or two of the calls at Hot 105. You know, it's one thing to pander to your audience, okay? It's another thing to have a conscience. It's another thing to have some kind of credibility. It's another thing to use your brain. I just say that. I'm not saying you got to, goose step in line with me, but what the hell are you people thinking about? Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yes, Neil, I'd like to know, do you think it's that some people use a trial to send a message about domestic violence?
No. You're talking about Denise Brown trying to make herself look good after all those years went by, and she said nothing about her sister getting beaten up all the time. Is that what you're talking about?
Right, and
trials.
The whole,
they don't have trials to send a message.
Right, but I mean, right after the verse, she says, "But we can learn from this." And
let me say it again. You don't have trials to send a message.
Right. But then again, they said that black people used that the black people in the jury.
That was Johnny Cochran who said send the message, right? And they did.
Right.
And it's wrong.
But then again, I mean, but see, everybody's arguing that though, but nobody's arguing the fact that, that that Denise Simpson.
Because nobody cares about that. She hasn't succeeded in that, okay? She's running around the country, and Geraldo's making her into a TV star. Nobody really cares about that.
Oh, really? Well,
you got jocks beating up their wives every day. You're reading about this. Warren Moon one day, Bobby Cox the next day. They're beating up their wives. Nobody cares about it.
Right.
You don't even hear a follow-up story. Irving Spikes, nobody cares.
Right. But when it comes to race, then everybody's paying attention then.
Exactly. That's the sad part.
Well,
two dead bodies, huh?
No, I'd just like to say I'm a Calgary Flames fan myself.
So I'll see you there, pal. Good luck. You'll need it.
All right, then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Calgary Flames, Theo Fleury, man. Look out. Great little player. And who they got in goal these days? Oh, they got Trevor Kidd. They're okay, Calgary. We'll beat them to a bloody pulp, right? Sure. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. I don't want to put any pressure on Doug McClain and the Panthers, but we better win that opening game, hey? Let's kick some ass. They're over in St. Petersburg to play those desperate Lightning tonight. They better win that game, too, just to make it look good. I bet you Rimmer's over there probably being brainwashed. Here's Boca. Hello.
Oh, what a day, huh?
It is.
It's beautiful.
I'm having lunch now. I feel better.
Yeah. Did you notice one of the jurors was coming out? She was wearing a Florida Marlins hat coming out of her house.
Well, now we know what the problem
there
was.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey. And also, though...
that explains it all to me.
I got another one.
Yeah.
The only cane that's going to kick ass in North Florida this week is the Opal.
Hey, what's going to... Wait a minute. What's going to happen?
I know. They're going to have a game.
Well, no,
I think the coach, Butch Davis, sent the Hurricane up there so they get their ass kicked.
I never thought of that. Wouldn't that be something if they got a reprieve on that?
Yeah. Hey.
Never happened, man. That thing's blowing through there like Grant took Richmond.
Yeah, beautiful thing. I got tickets in the mail only one day after I won them off you. It was amazing.
Great.
Like Federal Express.
Okay, pal.
All right, man. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
That's right. That's going to be the second hurricane is going to hit up there at the Panhandle up in Tallahassee this Saturday. And it's going to be an embarrassing thing. You notice something we haven't heard from? We haven't heard from one single Hurricane fan all season long. I know they've only played, 3 games, of which they've lost 2, by the way, including one marginal girls' school. And the one team they beat was a minor girls' school, Division II. Uh-oh, Sharon just came home. And she said, it was so good.
Oh, I should have kept in touch.
She should have kept in touch. But it's a big secret, of course. Ma's sitting there in her bathrobe. She knows something. She sees that look on Sharon's face like something really good just struck her. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I'd like to just share with you some things some thoughts I got on this whole OJ thing.
Yes.
First of all, because the jury failed to convict OJ does not mean that he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the TV yesterday, and all these people were jumping up and down when the verdict came out, and they interviewed people, and they were saying, I knew he was innocent.
Oh, yeah, right.
And people got to remember that just because the jury didn't convict him doesn't mean he's innocent.
Correct.
And you see, I served jury duty one time. I think you might find this interesting. I was sitting on a jury on a panel, and this guy was charged with 2 counts, and the prosecution failed to present enough evidence to convict him. But at the same time, the defense didn't present anything enough to acquit the guy.
Yeah.
So we went back to deliberate, and we didn't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt that this guy was guilty, but we knew he did something wrong. So we dropped one charge and found him guilty on the other. And I think that's the right thing to do. See, what happened with OJ is not about justice. It's about opinion. And I think there's a big difference between truth and opinion.
It's about sending a message.
Yeah. So, I think that the DA's office and the police department got what they deserve, but I don't think OJ got what he deserves, and I don't think the American people got justice.
And I think that Bob Shapiro, all of his posturing these last 24 hours or 20 hours, I think it rings pretty hollow when you got a man who took like over $1 million, $1.6 million, I think, over the last 10 months, and was, up to his ears, and now all of a sudden he's starting to say, well, he didn't agree with this, and they played the race card. He was a part of it, man. He can't shy away from it now.
Yeah, that's what he said on that interview with Baba Wawa.
In addition to which, he's the one that went out and found Johnny Cochran to be, head up the dream team. So good luck to us.
Yeah.
Okay, pal.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great day. Open line in Broward, 524. Boy, Nick's got a big smile on his push, too. I wonder why. It's been a hell of a long time, man. When you hold it in that many years. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. He said, you think there was pressure on that jury? He said, I'll show you something about pressure.
Squirt.
Here's Coral Springs on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I don't know much about hockey, but I want to ask you a couple questions. I met a hockey player this morning in Boca Raton doing some service work.
Yeah.
Ed Jovanowski for Panthers.
Right.
He has a broken hand. I didn't get a chance to ask
Got a
him.
broken hand in that fight with Brendan Shanahan in an exhibition game, and you tell Ed Jovanowski, who's a rookie this year, and we're looking for big things from him, and he's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks now, that, save the fights for the regular season and don't be busting your hand in the pregame, which means nothing.
Oh, okay.
Tell he's a putz.
The guy who was with me said, yeah, he got it in a fight, and I didn't know if it was on the ice or what. So.
On the ice in an exhibition game last Friday against Hartford, and it's unacceptable. Criminal.
He came from Canada?
Yes, he did, eh?
Hey. I was just curious. I didn't mean to change the subject.
Are you married?
Am I? Yeah.
Don't let your wife near him. Have a great day,
yeah,
pal.
he's a little stud there.
Yeah.
Kind of scrawny, though, Neil.
Well, you never know.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
All right.
It's just a joke, Eddie, okay? You got off up there. You're okay. There's another one of those deals. What was Jennifer just doing? She gave me the high sign. She said, I got more naked pictures of Brad Pitt. Is that what that was all about? I mean, those naked internet pictures, for those of you who want that thing, that thing. Because I know Jennifer is desperate for that thing. But it's not much of a thing. Of course, she could have been right yesterday. Maybe it needs to be talked to. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Happy holidays.
And back to you.
Great show today.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen this much action in a long time.
Damn right.
Listen, a couple things. I know you're not a fan of the Herald. Did you see the front page?
Of the Herald? No.
Okay, there's a picture of a corrections officer, and there's a picture of a judge. And the judge looks like she's saying the shot word just when the verdict is read. I mean, her eyes are closed, and everybody else is jubilee. All the correction officers are jumping and screaming and screaming. But it was funny. It was also on the news last night. Just that one little clip. I thought you might like to see that. Take a look at that in the paper.
Okay.
And have a good day, guys.
And back to you.
Bye.
Sun Sentinel, by the way, has got a good lead editorial today, which goes to show you sooner or later everybody gets one, decrying the verdict and the short deliberation and the whole farce that we just went through. And see, this is, forget about the verdict. I knew it was going to be not guilty. That was disappointing, but not unexpected. But it's that reaction. It's all these people cheering and screaming. It's this goddamn football mentality, man. Nobody won. There was no winner yesterday. Trust me.
The station that cares. Yeah, like hell we do. 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. Newt Gingrich has a skanky-wanky. Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. We thought he only spanked his monkey. They tease Bill Clinton about it all the time.
Yeah.
They call him womanizing low-life slime. But Newt, he's chasing girlies all around the shirt's undone, his hair is a mess. Who would have thought, whoever would have thought that?
All right, here we go. On the desk. Let's go.
Mr. Speaker, the committee would like to know, are those high heel shoes sticking out from under your desk? I see. Okay, then, the committee sees no impropriety here, and there'll be no further investigation.
I saw him working on his pickup lines.
Oh, God.
You come here often, baby. What's your sign? A pretty young Republican and all alone. Hey, pretty baby, can I give you the bone?
Happy forum.
Who would have thought? I never would have thought that.
Come here, baby, and meet the junior speaker of the House.
Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. Newt Gingrich has a skanky-wanky. Newt Gingrich does the hanky-panky. We thought he only spanked his monkey.
Okay, 107 at WIOD. I told you, we know what it's all about. We know which side it's buttered on. That's why we decided it would be Yom Kippur today, because we knew the verdict was coming yesterday. Here's a lady in Vero Beach. Hello.
Hi, my name is Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, I'm visiting Vero Beach, but I'm from Southern California.
Oh.
And I've been listening to your program for about 6 days, and I love it.
Well, great.
You are saying the things that I keep thinking and most people are afraid to say out loud.
Right.
And I know that it's not funny that 2 people were murdered, but if we don't learn how to get above it and start laughing about some of the stupid things that have happened, I don't know how we're ever going to start talking to people again.
Yeah.
I very much believe that there should be a professional jury, like you say, and I don't think that they should have televised this whole trial. I've been watching it since the Bronco chase, mostly because I listen to the television commentators after hours, and I think that's not what I heard. Their slant on it is so totally different than what I heard. I figured I better start listening to this thing. And I was so disappointed yesterday. It just ruined our day to hear that he was pronounced not guilty.
Did it bother you to see all these people cheering?
Oh, absolutely. That's so wrong. And the people that you see cheering, if they say that it's not a race trial, they're absolutely wrong. I think that if they were 2 people, husband and wife, that were the same color, whether it would have been black or white or green or purple, that he would have been found guilty. It was the fact that it was 2 different races that it seemed to be pitting, and good old Cochran, pitting one against the other, and he wasn't just waving the race card, he was waving the whole deck, everything that he could throw. It was sick.
Well, I think one thing we ought to do is eliminate all publicity about any trial held in California, especially Los Angeles, for next 10 years.
Oh, definitely.
Because they can't convict anybody out there, and I think that now the last thing that we need to start stirring everybody up again is see what passes as justice in California.
Absolutely right. And they're so litigious out there that the next thing that's going to happen is that OJ will probably sue the county for wrongful incarceration.
Well, he'll be pretty busy, though, with that civil suit from the Goldman family, so I think he'll be pretty busy. I was going to say have his hands tied, but that would be a bad expression.
Well, when it comes to justice, I think we're all looking for Fred Goldman to take care of all of it for us.
There you go.
And I'd love to be on his jury.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a great time.
All right, thanks.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Open line and the green line. That's Palm Beach. You know, baby, that's the heavy-duty stuff up there. Boca and Delray and Palm Beach and West Palm and North Palm and Jupiter and Uranus. 1-800-944-9463. Now we can get back to our soap operas on a regular basis. Now we can get back to the goddamn new fall lineup on the networks there and help them make a few bucks. Now we can get back to the public getting screwed with the baseball playoffs. I'll tell you one good thing if you got the big dish. You saw all the games last night. All right. How do you like that? I'm watching 4 hours of Geraldo on CNBC. I'm watching the Braves game in Colorado, tough game. I'm watching the Yankees in Seattle, brutal game. I'm watching about 2 seconds of Cincinnati and the Dodgers because that was a blowout. And I'm watching, what was the other one I left out? Oh, Indians and Red Sox, another tough game. So if you got the big dish, man, you got it all. Like I said, anybody who can get the big dish and winds up getting a little one like my neighbor over there, come on, Bernie, you made a bad mistake, pal. You can still turn it around. Thank you, Jennifer. It says... Should I read it?
That's debatable.
Oh, okay. Bunch of crap. Don't be stirring the pot, okay? Smoke it a little bit, but don't stir it. Anyway, let's go to a lady in North Miami Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Hi.
I agree with the last caller, but what makes me sick to my stomach is that blacks think that justice was served. It was not served. It showed that the criminals have all the rights, especially if they're rich, and the victims have no rights, especially if they're dead.
Well, wait, slow down. What makes you think that the black people you're referring to, and I assume you're the ones...
The majority of the blacks.
But wait a minute.
Hearing.
Wait a minute. But what makes you believe that they think that justice was done? Don't you think that a lot of those people just felt, okay, one for us, okay, we finally got one,
exactly.
baby.
But to them, that's justice because it's justified in their brains.
Yeah.
That it's okay. That's fine. I think deep down inside they know that he's a murderer, but he's black. So stick up for him. He's rich.
Well, he never stuck up for them. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
he was never any great. No.
And you know what? If he had the chance, he wouldn't do it. He's not going to stick up for his let's say his people. He's not going to.
Yeah.
He's a killer. He's a murderer. And another thing that was never brought up, he was cheating on his first wife when he met Nicole. And a lot of black women get angry over a black man dating a white woman. And those jurors that were black, I think the minute they found out that he was dating Nicole while he was still married, made up their mind. No matter what the DNA was, they made up their mind from the start, and that makes me sick. Are you there?
I'm here. What do you want me to say? I can't change it for you. I can't wave my magic wand.
We can't change it. We can't. But I just want white people to realize that they're not guilty of anything. We've been taught. I'm 31. My whole generation feels guilty to be white.
Yeah.
And I go down to that
public... Well, you know, that's an excellent point. I am really, I said this at the beginning of the show, and I've avoided it in the meantime, but I'm going to say it again. I'm really, really disappointed bitterly in black people, both inside this building and just out there in the community and in the country in general, because, I'm sick and tired of being held up for stuff that happened 200 and 300 years ago. The time has come to stop walking around with a chip on people's shoulder. The time has come to get an education, to get involved, to get intelligent, to get bright people elected, and to cut the crap. That's what the time has come for.
Yeah. I got another call I got to say one thing, because you don't have kids, and I do. And I go down to the public school systems, and they know who Martin Luther King is. They know where South Africa is, but they don't. The state of Florida looks like on a map, and they don't know who the President of the United States is.
Well, when they get older, tell them what the state looks like. Okay, we have an open line today. Well, it looks like a 1/3. Come on, it's hanging down there, baby. It's hanging down. But the governor's up there in the north end of it. That's why there's no balls. 113 at WIOD. The scam is as old as carpeting itself, man. An advertised price to clean your carpets by the room. It always sounds really good. Oh, is this going to be a great deal? It sounds so cheap, so inexpensive. What a bargain, what a steal, what a deal. Wrong. Because then when the work gets done, the price starts to climb and climb, and by the time they get through raking you over the coals, you got a bill that's bigger than your state of Florida. That's one reason why Dry Concepts is the choice to clean your carpet, the smart, the intelligent choice every time. Because they guarantee the price in writing before they touch a thing. When I say touch a thing, they not only do carpets, don't forget a lot of you who do business with Dry Concepts, they also do great furniture cleaning, drapery cleaning, spot dyeing, color enhancement, fiber protection, carpet repairs, in-plant oriental rug service, deodorization, even complete water damage restoration, and nobody does it like them, and nobody does it for you at a better price. Don't forget, guaranteed written price before you start, and quality work when they do it for you. Dry Concepts in Dade, call 930-3636. 930-3636. In Broward, 581-4739. 581-4739. And in West Palm Beach, call Dry Concepts at 930-4739.
610 WIOD. Getting irritated yet?
That's always been my query.
We all know how Shannon Faulkner's courageous 3-hour, half-a-day attempt to enter the Citadel ended at Hell Week.
It hurts to quit. Oh, and I don't think I look good in the shorts either.
But Shannon's story started 2.5 years before Hell Week. And now, A.B. Sleaze presents You Can Go to Hell, I Quit, the Shannon Faulkner story.
Up and at 'em, Shannon. Time to work out. Let's go.
Everyone in the Faulkner household knew Shannon would have to be in tip-top shape to complete the rigorous training at the Citadel.
Dad, I can't eat anymore.
You better eat, Cadet. There's 12 more Twinkies where that one came from. Now eat, munch,
Learn
chew,
how her
go.
rigorous training changed everything.
Shannon, we're gonna have to break up. This Citadel thing's made you too much woman for me.
If you ain't gonna finish your fries, can I have them?
You Can Go to Hell, I Quit. The Shannon Faulkner Story. It's the movie that proves you don't have to succeed in life. You just have to sell your miserable life story to the networks. Sunday night on A.B. Sleaze.
118 at WID. By the way, if Keith Smith Jr. is listening out there, you don't have to send me any more male pornography. I've already seen enough, especially with phony names on it now. Okay, so what, it's interesting. People that have been writing, you're sending in the same crap for 20 years, then all of a sudden you get an envelope. You just see the writing on the envelope and you know who it's from. And now they're using new names. All right, baby. Whatever you are. In addition to which, you got crappy taste. Spoiled Sports. All major sports fans blow hot and cold, but South Florida fans just plain blow by Jeff Rusnak in excess. All right. Okay, whatever you say. All right, let's just move along. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. My name's Tony. I'm calling from Miami, and I hope that you allow me to say my points, even though I disagree with you. I'll be civil about it. First of all, we have a criminal justice system.
That sucks,
All right, well, I agree with that, but I did not create the infrastructure. The infrastructure was created, and we have to learn to accept it or change it.
No, what do you mean? We have to learn to accept it.
Or change it.
Yeah.
We either have to do one or the other. Otherwise, we should just stay out of the fight, in my opinion, if we're not...
Well, what do you mean stay out of the fight? What fight?
Well, if we're going to complain about what the verdict is, I really believe that if the verdict went the other way, and if it was not 3 hours, it was just 1 hour of deliberation, I believe that people would have said justice was... And even though it was a 1 hour deliberation period, nobody would have complained about it.
Yeah, but why bring up a moot point? I mean, that's just conjecture. It didn't last only an hour, and they didn't come back with a guilty verdict, and under no circumstances were they going to.
But I'm saying that...
See, it's very hard to have a conversation about something you're conjecturing as opposed to having a discussion about what really took place.
Okay, what really took place was that there was a verdict, and there was... Even though I do believe that OJ Simpson more than likely has done it.
Yeah. So what's the point?
If I was an objective...
So are we supposed to celebrate the inefficiency of our system? Is that it? Are we supposed to be excited about it?
No, I don't think we should celebrate it at all.
So then what are you saying? I think people like myself and a lot of others are speaking out against the system. It doesn't work. The jury system is a farce, and we would like to see some people get upset enough to try to get some changes made.
Okay, that part I can accept. If I can address the racial issue now. As far as the racial issue is concerned, I'm not so sure that this is a black and white situation here.
Well, you're dreaming.
Well, I mean, Nicole Brown Simpson's name, you may her soul rest in peace, her name is not mentioned as much as Ron Goldman's name is. And I know Shapiro's having a lot of...
You're dreaming.
Shapiro's, if you allow me to finish...
No, but you're wrong about that.
Well, I think, as somebody said, Fred Goldman, the last caller mentioned something about being on Fred Goldman's... jury panel. If he was going to go ahead and attack...
Yeah. And he's gone? And he just disappeared. Okay, he disappeared like magic. Open line a day. What, do they get him or what? 751-9463. I think what he was trying to say, but I'm not really sure, was like a black and Jewish issue? Is that what it is? Which, don't get me started on that. Because when it comes to anti-Semitism, all of a sudden we want to start talking about Louis Farrakhan again and how much an enormous percentage of black America embraces him and loves him, and Jesse Jackson and all his Hymietown comments, which all the apologies in the world don't cover up where he's coming from and what he's all about with his phony Rainbow Coalition and all his issues. See, I wish I could tell you the names of some really brilliant black leaders who could really help bring black America up and undo a lot of inequities and injustices. I can't give you a lot of names. I mentioned before a couple of people I respect and admire a lot, Julian Bond and Barbara Jordan, okay? A couple of black politicians who I think were articulate, brilliant, forceful, dynamic, etc. But just like white America, there aren't a lot of leaders out there. And by the way, if you think Colin Powell is going to be a black leader, you're dreaming, baby, because he's another real Uncle Tom. Make no mistake about that. And a BS artist and totally inept. And talks out of both sides of his ass. 122 at WIOD. For the past 20 years, the Pizza Loft's been serving the best Italian-American food anywhere in South Florida. That's a long time to be around, especially when you look like Jeff Cohen. And did you know that the same great food you find at Pizza Loft can be served at your party, your picnic, your office event? In fact, Jeff is busy catering a lot of Yom Kippur parties today. That's right, he's got a sense of humor. Pizza Loft can cater your event, whether it's a big one or a little one. They've brought some great food here to the station. Just ask George, who always says, right after they leave. And they can do the same for you. Call Pizza Loft 266-5111. Quite frankly, after Jeff leaves, I always say right away. And make your arrangements. They'll cater it, like I said, whether it's big, whether it's small, whether they haven't even seen it yet. If you've never been to the Pizza Loft, man, you're going to love it, okay? The food is great. Everything fresh. They give you big portions of great Italian food. Award-winning lasagna, manicotti, spaghetti, baked ziti, eggplant parmesan, fantastic pizzas, 3 different kinds, all made by hand. No frozen crap, nothing artificial, just the best stuff money can buy. Pizza Loft, upstairs, 69th and Flagler, just east of the Palmetto, 266-5111.
As we continue to try to help everybody to just get along, once again, Thursday morning show is going to be devoted to race issues. Who's better, Al Unser Jr. or Dale Earnhardt?
Dale Earnhardt, man.
Al Unser Jr.
Dale?
Al Unser
Dale.
Jr. Al Unser, why
Weekends, 6 to 10 a.m. on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
In 1971, we bid a tearful goodbye to the Doors. Well, they're back in the 90s as the Windows.
Windows 95. Bill Gates' computer hype. My computer just went down and I can't mess around with Windows 95.
The Windows. Their music isn't exactly poetry to the ears of computer users around the world.
Yeah, it glitches badly. Oh, how mad it made me. Hey, come on, Bill Gates. This software's second rate.
The Windows will bring hard rock to your hard drive.
How do I run you without more memory? The ads mislead me, I should get it for free.
The Windows and the Windows 95 tour. Feel free to crash and spend a lot of time with us.
126 at WIOD. You know, we've been hocking and China here 3.5 hours today on Yom Kippur, no less, which I noticed, by the way, a lot of Jews in the building all of a sudden. Very observant. But anyway, I still have yet to have one person explain to me, especially a black caller. We've had a few, but a couple of them incoherent, some fairly reasonable. But what was the celebrating about? What was the cheering and the incredible exuberance and psychotic reaction? What was that? See, I can't relate to it. I must be missing out on something because I'm not black, and I just, maybe you have to be black to understand it. I don't. I don't understand what it was that was won yesterday. Was it a victory for somebody? Was it a victory for justice? Was it a victory for black people? Was it a victory for what? Here's Tequesta. Hello.
Hi, Neil. Dick Bennett up in Tequesta.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you just brought that up because that was what I was calling about, that dancing in the streets. You know, a point that's never brought up is to OJ, his own people aren't even good enough for him. Nicole was white. His present lady.
I can't tell you the number of people who called during the last 9 or 10 months and said OJ was an Uncle Tom. A lot of people.
Well, his
a lot of blacks.
His present lady friend is white. In other words, the black ladies aren't good enough for him. Yet the blacks are dancing in the streets for their great idol. An idol who doesn't even think the black people are good enough for him.
He's never been a spokesman for black causes. He's never been involved, to the best of my knowledge, or any significant black charitable or, maybe I'm wrong, but I've read an awful lot these last 9 or 10 months. I don't see that he was ever greatly involved. You know, he grew up in a ghetto himself, thanks to the fact he was lucky enough to meet Willie Mays as a young kid. Willie helped to get him out of the ghetto, get him into USC, and make him into a big superstar, make all that money. But I don't see that he ever went back and spread it around anywhere in the inner city, and he was out there in Brentwood with all the multimillionaires and almost no black people out there. He was an elitist Uncle Tom.
Well, and to me here they are cheering for this chap who is their absolute hero, and he doesn't even think that they're good enough for him.
Yeah, I don't care.
Another point I want to bring, if I were OJ,
yeah,
I would buy and wear at all times 2 bulletproof vests.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
See ya. Okay, here's the man that's going to solve all the problems of America, Dennis the Menace.
How you doing, Neil?
What's up, Dennis?
Nothing.
How they hanging?
Pretty good.
Don't take anything by those questions.
Oh, sure. I'm just disgusted by all this.
Fed up, nauseated, revolted.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not gonna waste my time anymore worrying about 12 morons and a couple millionaires. One of them happens to be a murderer. It's not worth my time.
Yeah.
So I'm moving on to bigger and better things.
Which is?
Hockey.
All right.
So, how was the game on Friday?
Game was pretty mediocre. We only stayed 2 periods and we left, but it's an exhibition game. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I didn't.
Plus, one of the seats you would have sat your ass in was broken anyway, and it damn well better be fixed by Sunday.
The one my friend Frank broke.
No, Frank didn't break it, did he?
No.
That's a good line, though. That was quick. That's the seat that he sat in, too.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what happened. Nice going, Frank.
Yeah, right. Well, he's looking pretty good.
That's what he said.
He's lost, 60-some pounds.
And he said, you're starting to look pretty good, too, since he's been listening to the show, but I don't know what he meant by that. But anyway, so what's the deal? I don't have no extra tickets for that Calgary game, you know.
What do you mean? You gave my seats away?
No. See, Woody Graber... Oh, geez, now here we go. Now I'm in trouble. Woody Graber bought 6 of the games for the season. I bought 35. He bought the other 6 or 7, whatever, 6 games.
I see.
One of them, of course, is opening night.
Uh-huh.
Now, possibly, tomorrow we'll check because there's nobody. They're all Jewish today. If we got, like, those extra 4 seats on the other side that they probably aren't going to use, I would imagine I can probably steal a couple of those for you.
Okay.
Which I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Should I call tomorrow then?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay.
So how's everything going, huh?
Pretty good.
Pompano Park Friday night opens up.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be a good idea.
So we got all kinds of possibilities to get together, Dennis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tiffany's in Atlanta right now. I have to pick her up in the airport today. She had a couple job interviews.
Well, how long was she gone?
2 days. She was gone Monday.
And you're calling me today?
What do you mean?
She's been gone for 2 days. I had a window of opportunity there, even bigger than OJ's.
Oh, well, sorry.
I know, the window's locked. Okay, Dennis, talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, bud.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Open line and date. Damn it. Open line and date, 751-9463. It's just, it's one of those things, He's all right. It's a good guy. Wait till he finds out he's going to sit on my lap Sunday. Here's Tallahassee. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
You better get ready, man.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get blown up here.
It's going to be blowing pretty hard on the hurricane, too.
We were just trying to get ready for the game, and this storm comes to ruin the game.
Well, I don't think it's going to ruin the game. I think it's not going to blow the whole stadium away, is it?
Hey, it might.
Be a good excuse. This is the only... Somebody called before, said the only hurricane that's going to roll into town is the Opal.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yep.
Anyway, you should have seen Winn-Dixie, man. There's no beer left in any Winn-Dixie in Tallahassee now.
Now you're talking. And I bet you there's no Prozac left at any of the pharmacies either.
I have a shameless request.
Okay.
How about Chesterfield?
How are you going to hear it?
Can I stay on the line?
Okay.
All right.
Well, how can you turn down a guy that's about ready to get blown away?
Tight little island full of gay romance. They wear gay sandals and they wear tight pants. Sun-drenched top to bottom every day. Blessed with the miracle of being gay. The very best of faggots in the USA. Giving big, big pleasure in a big, big way. The very best of faggots in the USA. Giving big, big pleasure in a big, big way. Chesterfield.
Join the big swish to Chesterfield Queen, new choice of the fags of America.
Okay, you still there?
I'm there.
You heard it?
Yep, thanks a lot.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Even better.
I hear nothing, I see nothing, I know nothing.
You might be getting out of town, getting away from the hurricane, going to Boise. Hang on a second, pal.
Okay.
Hang on. Don't go away. Explain that to him, okay? Oh, that was good. I love it. Well, there's a guy that would want to get out of town because he's in Tallahassee. It's getting ready to get blown off the map, and he might want to go to Boise with all those real light complexion people. Anyway, let's go to Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
Hey, man, you hit it right on the mark, man.
As usual.
You speak the truth, man.
Yep.
God has spoken.
Yes.
Just don't run for president, though. Neil, God.
No, there's not enough money in it.
Well, hey, Neil, you know what? I never got that tape.
Never got what tape?
The Adams family thing.
Well, today's only Wednesday.
Well, you guys gave it out on Friday.
George, what day did you send those tapes out?
The same day.
He sent them out the same day.
Never got it.
You gave him the right address?
Yeah.
Well, maybe your mailman's... Huh?
Yeah, the mailman got
it. George says, too bad. Nice. Very nice, George. Now, maybe the mailman wants to watch it a couple of times, then he'll pop it back.
Then he's going to give it to me?
Then he'll give it to you.
By the way, Neil, do you know what this is?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Fernando?
Alejandro.
Ah, yeah, Fernando.
Yeah, right. There you go. Fernando's Hideaway.
Yeah, what happened?
Just keep looking for it, pal.
No, but what happened?
What happened with what?
Well, you never called.
Hang on tight, Alex.
Okay, well, are you going to call?
You never know.
Hopefully.
See you, pal.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my God. I'm being stalked. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. You know, all things in time. You know what they said? Who said that? All things in time. In time. What movie was that in? Real quick. In time. Oh, that was in The Exorcist. Remember that? When he wanted her to open the drawer again? Do it again. That's what Father Karras said. In time. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hello.
Hollywood.
Not Hollywood.
It says Hollywood here.
Well, they're wrong.
You better look around. They're starting to get older by the minute, man. It's Hollywood.
It's Coral Springs, but
like I said, they're getting older by the second.
Here's something for you. OJ Simpson killed his wife. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Cut her open with a knife. Oh, doo-dah day. Called up Johnny Cochran, 'cause he's a great defensor. In L.A. he sucks, but if you got the bucks, you can make your wife a Pez dispenser.
All right. There we go. He a poet and he don't know it. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. 135 at WIOD. Let me tell you about a place that's really doing it. That's Lorenzo's Italian Center in North Miami Beach, where they continue to be amazed, shocked, astonished, and astounded at the phenomenal response to the Dr. Atkins diet foods. And Lorenzo's is going to continue to offer those great Dr. Atkins diet foods like the cheesecake, which I just had a few morsels of. Unbelievable. It is so good. It is incredible. Lorenzo's is now selling up to 1,500 cheesecakes a week. 1,500 a week! Over 500 loaves of the basic protein bread. Over 200 pounds of the 50% less carbohydrate soy fettuccine are being sold every week at Lorenzo's, and it's growing like crazy. Lorenzo's is telling you these numbers because all this food wouldn't be sold if it weren't good. Lorenzo's is also selling lots of nitrite-free hot dogs at $4.99 a pound. And coming soon, a new nitrite-free hot dog from New York. Now, which one did I just have, George? We don't know, but it was damn good, whatever the hell it was. It was great. There's also the nitrite-free veal bratwurst at only $3.99 a pound, the nitrite-free bacon, and lots more bulk-sliced meats in the meat case. And if that's not enough, Lorenzo's newest surprise, wait till you hear this, the Dr. Atkins fudge will be available soon. They're going to be packing into Lorenzo's for that. Lorenzo's also has all the fresh pastas, breads, meats, etc. Lorenzo's Italian Center, 16385 West Dixie Highway, North Miami Beach.
I hear nothing, I see nothing, I know nothing.
That's the sound we'll use to register people for the next curious journey to the great Pacific Northwest and the new hometown of Detective Mark Fuhrman. He may want to fade into the background, but we're not going to let him. If you're on the air when you hear this sound,
I hear nothing, I see nothing, I know nothing.
Congratulations. You're qualified for Tragic Trip number 4. From News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD. 610 WIOD. Double click and reboot now.
See, if I were thinking, I would have played this at the beginning of the show, but I wasn't thinking until the last guy said, well, whatever guy was, a few calls ago. It's party time, baby. Let's go out in the street.
Nicole. I killed Nicole. I killed Nicole.
They be dancing in the street, baby. We don't know why, but somebody better explain it to me. I don't get it. I'm missing something. Here's Hollywood on the purple line. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I don't know what all the bitching's about. If you would have listened to Johnny Cochran's closing argument.
Yeah.
OJ's good days far outweighed his bad days. He admitted he was a wife beater, but hey, that was only 3 or 4 days out of his life.
That's right.
He could have bumped off a few more people and still be cruising with all those extra
I think you've just come up with a new barometer for criminal justice. In other words, if a guy's a good guy most of the time, for example, Hitler might not have been all that bad, most of the time. He just had a few off moments.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I'm going to go knock off a few myself and just...
We all have our bad days, right?
Yeah. Donated to charity, so that counts for at least 2 people.
Right.
All right.
Okay, pal.
Bye-bye.
So, yeah, there's our next great criminal defense attorney right there. He was having a bad day. He was pissed off, okay? You know what I'm saying? Oh! Okay, let's party, baby. Here's Hollywood. Hello. Hollywood.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's put this as kind of in a perspective.
Okay.
You're supposed to be judged by a group of your peers.
Right.
Now, do you call that ghetto mentality?
No, of course not. Of course not. The guy was a multimillionaire. There was maybe one black person who lived about a mile away in Brentwood, and that was it.
Right, let me finish. You got to blame this whole fiasco. You got to blame this whole fiasco on the prosecution. The prosecution gave the defense the case.
Right.
How in the world could they put a moron like Fuhrman on? How in the world Any law student will know, don't ask a question if you don't have the answer. Can you imagine him getting up there and say, does the glove fit? And you get this big guy standing up saying, the glove doesn't fit.
Especially when any of the criminologists should have said, hey, listen, their blood's been on there for almost a year. They're going to shrink a little bit. He can make it look really bad for you.
So for all the people who are upset on the defense, you shouldn't be. The prosecution did the most horse's ass trial. They gave them a case.
And don't forget, Fuhrman asked to be taken off the LAPD. Remember that? He asked to be removed from the LAPD because he was having all these personal problems and conflicts, and he knew he was a piece of crap. And they said, nah, you're just a typical cop. Go ahead and, beat up some people.
I mean, these Los Angeles morons, these police department, the jury system.
The worst.
I mean, here you get this Menendez, who they say they killed their parents.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed their parents. Everybody would have seen it on TV, and they get a hung jury.
But when they got that new bitch attorney, they remembered that as youngsters, they were abused by their father. It all came back to them.
Of course.
Something they had conveniently forgotten.
I mean, how do you pick a jury? He should have been tried in Brentwood.
Right.
With a really, I'm very serious.
Amen.
He should have been tried in Brentwood.
Hallelujah.
So what they do is
now you're talking.
So they get a ghetto mentality.
Right.
They have 9 people there who are black Hispanic, and they have 2 whites.
Yeah.
And they let this guy.
And the first vote in the jury, by the way, was 10-2.
Right.
You figure it out.
So how do you feel? No one could say that the defense should be accused. The defense was given the case. You and I could have got him off just by
I'll
saying.
pass on that.
Well,
he's not my type.
But do you agree with me that the prosecution are morons, total, absolute morons?
Yeah. Amen.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stay out of L.A.
You got it.
See ya. I would say if you've never been to L.A., it would be a real good idea. Don't ever go there. It is a horrendous, it is a grotesque, it is a disgusting place. It is filthy, it is crime-ridden, it is nauseating, and used to be great. Used to be a hell of a place. What the hell happened? It's a toilet. Oh, it's bad. It is really bad. So stay out of L.A. Believe me, I'm telling you, I'm begging you. Just get a satellite dish and watch KTLA. But stay away from Vin Scully. He'll kill you. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hi, Neil. Never really been pissed off enough to call you before. I've been listening for years.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I'm disgusted to say that the rest of the people in this country are Americans with me. Anyone that says that they know for a fact whether OJ is innocent or guilty, to me is arrogant, egotistical, and extremely hypocritical.
Meaning what?
These people who are rejoicing on both sides, whether...
what do you mean rejoicing on both sides? Who's rejoicing on the side?
Rejoicing or are crying.
Like I am, yeah.
I think... I mean, I find it disgusting that there are people rejoicing in the street for this, and I find it disgusting that there are people in Brentwood crying as if this, in some way, OJ is tied to them. They feel so emotionally tied to OJ. I find it disgusting. I think the only thing that affects you and me on this case is that basically OJ beat his wife. He's a jerk for doing that.
Yeah. And he's a hero.
I'm not going to be egotistical enough to say that I know whether he killed his wife or not. There's a lot of evidence on both sides.
Yeah.
And basically, we need to focus on the important things. And number one.
Well, what did we have all the people cheering for yesterday when the verdict was announced? What was that all about?
I thought that was disgusting, but I think it's equally disgusting to have people crying and saying that this really affects them personally.
That's what I've been saying all along. It's not going to affect anybody except the people involved in it.
But also, Neil, that the one thing I'd like to say about what you've been saying is, let's just say you're a celebrity. Let's just say I'm in the mob, and your wife or husband or whatever does some drugs, owes me some money.
Oh, please don't start coming up with that cockamamie drug deal thing with...
hypothetically,
no, wait a minute, you're just blowing... Listen, I don't want to talk to you, man. You're an idiot. On the one hand, he says how arrogant everybody else is for believing... We've listened to all the evidence. Now he wants to go through some hypothetical bullcrap. What an idiot. What a bozo. What a jackass. Hypothetically, yeah, fill in the blank. Make up any story you want, like F. Lee Bailey. Oh, they thought they were getting Faye Resnick. It was a professional hit. It was a drug thing. Yeah, like they didn't know Faye Resnick from goddamn Nicole Brown Simpson, who, by the way, did not live in the same house. Condo, whatever the hell it was. And this guy, well, hypothetically, it's a... You are one stupid mother, baby, I'll tell you. You are dumber than dust. But just for the sake of argument, get that fag off of there. Okay, 146. Huh? What do you think? I think the parrot did it. Oh, don't say Chicago, because that glass is still broken in the hotel sink. Here's a lady in Kendall. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
And back to you.
Thank you.
How'd you like the last caller?
I think he's an idiot.
Was I rushing to judgment on that, or
No,
is he a moron?
I think
is he a
you gave him
jackass?
No,
He's
gave
ripping everybody else for, making conclusions out of what we got driven into our ear for 9 or 10 months there. And now hypothetically, okay.
He takes the most ridiculous aspect of it.
It was a drug deal. That's why they left the glove behind.
It's insane. All I need to say is that I think that they've convicted people with less evidence
They have.
than they have
They
in
said
this
that.
case. And I think the problem goes down to this. There is no such thing as an impartial jury. Everybody is driven by emotion. When it comes down to it, everyone sticks with their own kind. That's the way it is. And it's unfortunate because there is no such thing as a just and fair trial because people are not open-minded.
Yeah.
Now, I say with all the technology we have available to us, computer-wise, cyberspace, isn't there any type of way to put this format, this whole scenario into a computer,
Of course
put
not.
all the evidence
Of
into
course
a computer,
No.
and just somehow,
No.
not even like percentage-wise,
No.
tell you
No.
would it lean one
No.
way or the other?
No.
Computers don't have
No.
that kind of logic?
No.
It couldn't be done.
No. Professional jurors, okay? They've been doing it in England for 8 million years.
Well,
Telling you.
how can we do this? How can we go on?
It isn't going to happen.
Getting these type
It's
of
not
verdicts.
going to happen.
The
You want to
Rodney
know
King
why?
verdict,
Because
OJ
all the
Simpson
people who
verdict.
make the decisions are lawyers, okay? They're all lawyers. Almost all the politicians are lawyers. This is their game. This is their bullcrap that they set up, and they're going to perpetuate it, and they're going to keep selling it and peddling it as the greatest. And I had to laugh. I'm listening to all these assholes on TV, all these commentators. Well, it's the greatest system on earth. Bullcrap. It blows. The greatest system on earth, my ass. Judged by a jury of your peers. God forbid that any of you should ever have your life on the line with 12 morons from off the goddamn street, including a lot of the people we're talking to here today. Well, hypothetically, your wife, well, I don't got no wife. How do you like that, pal, okay? So that blows that out of the water. 148 at WIOD. When you light the fireplace or barbecue, make sure you're lighting a delightful fire from Evening's Delight and throw a Susan Smith right in the middle. Evening's Delight's got over 60 models, and the Menendez brothers, too, while you're at it. They've got over 60 models of barbecue grills, everything from gas to charcoal, even electric. Choose from brands like Fire Magic and Weber. Right now, you can get a 25,000 BTU grill for just $129 at Evening's Delight. They also carry 5,000 different replacement parts by Modern Home Products to help you get your grill back in top working condition. Evening's Delight is South Florida's premier store for Martin fireplaces, and right now, as I speak, you can get a Martin fireplace installed for under $895. They can install it anywhere, in the living room, the bedroom, even in your bathroom. And there's a full line of accessories like Hallmark screens, Portland doors, and ready-built mantles, too. Evening's Delight, they're South Florida's barbecue and fireplace specialty store, a mile south of Dayland on US 1 in Miami, and on Powerline Road between Oakland Park Boulevard and Commercial in Fort Lauderdale.